I've been eating a biscuit. I've had nothing to eat. I can't eat during that game, or I'll be, I don't know, just composers, as they say, with that wonderful terminology. Come on, lads. Is this our year or what? What were we all praying for? That, this is like going back to last Sunday and after the game against Chelsea. Was we all hoping somehow that Darwin would be on the bench for this game today? Everyone. What happened? What happened? Absolutely. Those Forest fans are horrible. Horrible. Booing our lads, they were. And I'm talking about our fans every time they started singing, they were booing it. They're horrible, them. Horrible. Just made up. Just made up what we done today. Just absolutely made up. And as the Anfield Roar says, fantastic result. Darwin has really improved. Wow. And look at all those pints and scotch. You are right, Frankie, lad. I'm ecstatic. I'm really ecstatic. I can't believe, I think this is our year, I really believe that this is our year. We're going to go right through. We're going to go right through. This side is going to go right through. And those kids are going to help us. Those kids. God, I can't believe it. I really can't. Captain Sal. Evening, Frank. Great result today. Captain Sal. Brilliant. It's absolutely incredible. It really is. I'm just waiting there for some of my guests to come on, and because Jason's away and he set it up. I can't set things up. I'm absolutely useless. And he said, I'll be home by 7. He said, 6, 7. He said, and I'll get the links out. But he's already sent links out to the lads. Whether they've got them or not, I don't know. Any of you can come on, If you ever want to come on here, it's your show. You're the boys. This is FC.Liverpool. This involves everybody. And if you ever want to make an appearance, just say yeah to me. Get some details. Send your email address or something, and I'll get you on. I'll have you on, talking, showing your passion for the Reds. This is what it's all about. And as Anfield Roar says, hate them Forest bastards. I do. They are horrible. They are horrible. And Redbird, Forest got de-wizzied. Wizzied. Bunda haters. You don't deserve to be a Red if you hate on our play. Exactly. They're horrible, they are. They've always been horrible. Always, booing our fans. Our fans go out there. You know why they were booing, don't you? You know why they were booing. They haven't a clue. These horrible people haven't a clue what we've gone through. What I've gone through personally. Haven't a clue. From last Sunday. Haven't a clue. So they boo us. Well, they can sod off and Robin Hood. And Redbird says, the Anfield replies to Gary Rigby. Fantastic win. Don't read the comments on any Liverpool videos on YouTube. The comments are horrible. There you go. They won't be horrible on here. Telling you boys, they won't be horrible on here. They won't be horrible on here. I'll come on next week, Frank. I'll send you your details. I'll send you thanks. Thanks, Anfield Road. It'll be great if you did. Honestly, as I said, anybody. I can't fit you all on, obviously, but this is your platform. I don't charge money for all these like messages things. I don't need money, to be honest. I don't need it. I just want the lads on here. This is your platform. I want you to come on and speak your mind, whether it's criticism as well. Don't be afraid to criticize if anything really needs criticism. But, I think it's all praise now for our young lads, for these academy kids. Look at that lad who went to school the bloody next day. The next day. After appearing in a cup final. And he never got any credit off any of them. Those Chelsea supporters as well. They're horrible, them as well. Everyone, they're all horrible. They're all horrible. And as the Redbird says, what a team we have. And he replies, Redbird, we do amazing. We do have an amazing side. Frank, also Leicester fans too, their hate only makes us strong. I think you're right. I think that's a cracking comment. It does. And it makes us stronger as well. It makes us stronger. Believe it or not. Liverpool has always been strong. And I'm not talking just about the team, I'm talking about the city as well. We've always had this strong attitude. I'm a historian and I do lectures about, certain things, going right back. And I'm saying, like I did papers on the likes of Shakespeare, the likes of Dickens, and what was happening. And there's a book called The Commercial Traveller. I'm on the telly next week, funny enough, on Channel 5, and I'm talking about Dickens. And this commercial traveller, he came to Liverpool. It's Dickens. And he wrote about it. He loved Liverpool. He loved the strength of Liverpool, the strength of the people of Liverpool. And this is what it says now, the strength of Liverpool. It goes back to the great Shanks and right up to this fella today, Klopp. This is the strength we have, wonderful strength, and it unites the fans. And if anyone tries to have a dig at us, we dig back. We dig back. That's what we do. But we have a harder dig. They have a bigger slap than they'll ever have. And today proved it. Paul Turner. Sorry to go on, boys. Hello, Frank, of the Mighty Purples. Oh, yeah, the Perps. Yeah, absolutely, Paul. And Forest fans singing Andy Carroll, then Darwin shut them up with a bit of magic. Wasn't that just unbelievable? Yeah, he was singing Andy Carroll there. But it makes us fans stronger. It really does. Whether you'd agree with me or not, but my opinion, it makes us stronger. It makes us stronger. And the Anfield Road, we can have a chin wag, says the Anfield Road. And Gary Rigby, and you can't answer them back. It just makes it worse. Yes. Yes, it does. Captain Sal, this was a tough game and not as easy as people were thinking it was going to be. which made this result much better. Absolutely. Even my daughter Francine, coming home from the match the other night, she said it's going to be hard, Dad, against that Forest. She said it's going to be hard. And they're fighting, to get clear of that relegation thing. So they've got they're trying to get as many points as possible, and that's the first time we've won in Yonks, isn't it? There, I don't think we've ever beaten them there. So sweet that was so sweet. Believe you me, sweeter than I'm not saying sweeter than any game. I'm just saying, it made it all the more sweet, especially when Darwin came on. Couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it. Honestly, absolutely amazing. And Norman says, I'm so made up with that win. Despicable Forest fans. Tierney again calling fouls on our cut. Yes. Yet allowing it when it's happened to us. Yes. Yes. And carries on by saying, it's us against the world. Bollocks to them all. Why not? Why not? Absolutely amazing. I'm just trying to. I'm barely my bloody. Hang on, where am I? I can't see, I can't see. Hang on. Oh, I can't put it on there. God, blimey. Excuse me, boys and girls. I've got a cup of tea here. And something went wrong with me thing. Right. All right now. Yeah. Redbird says, I came off social media and negative Liverpool channels because they were spoiling the game for me. I now enjoy watching the game without listening to the naysayers. All right, I put something up. It was only for my little granddaughter's sake. But I don't use Facebook anymore. I very rarely go on. I very rarely. Because all the negativity, and you're getting also these other people that follow a narrative that I'm not talking football here, that I'm totally against, totally. And that's why I've come off it. That's why I've come off it. But I had to put up my little granddaughter who was with me against Southampton, the Southampton game, and she loved it, and she still loves it. She said, "Why isn't Mo Salad playing?" Mo Salad. I just left her to say Mo Salad, and I just told her why. But anyway, Mo Salad and us, we won. We beat that lad as well. And Gary says, the city has been through a lot. The Tories managed to climb for one. Thatcher has gone and Liverpool is booming. Absolutely. I go back to to when she first got in 79, and a couple of years later, she destroyed Liverpool. She took 92 million funding away from us. 92 million. Think about that. She took our purse away. And then the managed decline. I always remember Theresa Gorman. She was a Tory MP for Billericay down in Essex, a nice little posh town, a nice little rich town, Tory stronghold. And believe it or not, it came in a paper. She was coming up in 1992, never forget it. And she said, this article came out, and what she said was, let's build a wall around Liverpool to show future generations how people used to live. That's what she said. And all our students, all our university students got wind of it. And they all went down to Lime Street Station, and she was chased back to Billericay. That horrible woman. Bear with me on this, boys and girls. There I am. I've got to put the lights on. Sitting in the dark. Sitting in the dark. So that was that, there's a lot that goes on, or that went on, about Liverpool. I give a lecture about the 1911 general strike, when Churchill sent up, he was the first Sea Lord, and sent up 2 frigates to train the guns on the citizens and the city of Liverpool. Think about that. Think about that. This city was the second, of the empire. And you know what? All the trade was coming through here. And they wouldn't even give us our city status until 1880. And as I said, that goes back then. Back then. And look, I said it on the telly once. It was on the telly. And I said, this is what I said on the telly. I said, what saved us from apathy in the 80s was the football. I said, with Liverpool and with Everton. I said, Everton were a very good side. They won the league. We were winning European Cups in the league. Everything we were winning. That saved us from apathy. They gave us, both teams gave us something to cling on to because of what was going on to our city. By politicians, by a government that's always hated Liverpool. That's what I said. Anyway, hey Frank, says Normal, why don't you get your mate Macbeth on? Yeah. The poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage and has heard no more. As they say, it's a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. That lad, unfortunately, has passed on. But you know the story, don't you? You know the story. Paul Taylor, imagine Arsenal and City before Darwin scored that goal. They were thinking that was the game. We may slip up. Imagine the deflation now, and they have to go and make sure they do the job. Yes, do their own job. This is the pressure that they're putting on. This is the pressure. This is what our lads do. This is what our lads do. And we got no credit, for those kids. Chelsea supporters have said, we as a younger side, piss off. Piss off. One lads went to school the next day. Does any of your lads go to school the next day after appearing in a cup final? No, you didn't. Sods off, you mings. And Redbird, fellow Reds hit the like for our number 9. And there's also Thank you, boys. I'll give them. Thank you, Redbird. And Realism, Jared. Like, subscribe, and share. Thank you, boys. I really, you don't know how much I appreciate it. You really don't. And Paul Turner, it's us against the world. Yes. But that what, it's us against the world, but that what gives us the strength to unite together and gives us the determination not to let anyone get the Thank you. Paul, thank you. Excellent comment. Excellent comment. And the link's been sent out to you. Mates, I was crapping myself when we hadn't scored by 90 minutes, but sanity prevailed. And 10 minutes later, I was buzzing my head off. I'm glad you said buzzing your head. And never beat them in the Prem. I bloody hate them. Yeah. And as Norman says, first league win since 1984. Goes that far back, does it? I know that we are. But mind you, they were dropping out of the... I never liked Clough, you know. I never, ever liked Clough. Horrible him. He blamed us for Hillsborough. I want you to be aware of that. And I used to go to Shankly Hotel, and I was going to have a function in there. And I went down with our Francine, and anyway, I walked in. First time I ever walked in. There's a big picture of Clough hanging there. And I said to this fella came to see me about it, and apparently it was the great-great-grandson of Shanks. And he said, oh, hello. I said, yeah. I said, what's he doing up there? He said, who? I said, that picture there of him. I wouldn't mention his name, he said. And he said, oh, he liked, he said nice things about, I said, you what? I said, do you realise what he said about us fans? We loved your granddad. Still love him. We still talk about him. We still drool over him, what he did for Liverpool. I said, so you have got a picture up there. I've just walked in and I've seen that picture of a person I despise, because he blamed us. Well, it was 96 then. For 96 deaths. He blamed us. And you've got a picture hanging up there where you can... And me and Francine just walked out. But anyway, I was talking to George on the pod the other night. And I said to him, hey, George, because he said he was down at the Shankly. He said, it's gone. The picture's gone. So I made up with that. At least he took notice. So there's the Forest link for you. But him, a horrible man. Darryl says, not got a link. Wait till Jason comes in, okay. He said he'd be in by 6:30 or 7 at the latest. Okay, and he'll send it out. But yeah, he did send a link, but he sent a link on Facebook actually to you. I can see it there. I can see it there, the link. And if you go on, and you said, are you happy, Frank? And I said, absolutely. There's your link there. Okay? That's you, Darryl. The poor old Forest fans ended up with naught. No, don't say poor old. Don't say poor old. Just say they ended up with nothing. Brian. Frank, not good for the heart, that. Do you want to see me scar here? Come here, down here. God, but it gives you the beat, doesn't it? Gives you the beat. And Norman says, Frank, I don't know what Forest fans were singing behind Klopp, but he stared and looked at them disgusted for over a minute. This is what they hear everything. They hear everything. So you can imagine what Klopp thought. You can imagine him. And when that winner went in from the Darwin, Imagine the delight, just like the delight he showed uh, when when Big Vern scored that header, second header by the way, against Chelsea. The delight, and that was the delight he showed today as well. Nottingham Forest fans had to go to food banks looking for points. They still come up empty-handed. I don't know what. And there's one for Daryl. I think you like. I think you like Lee. Never listens. Never listens to me. So, are you listening to me? Go on your messenger or whatever it is you're on. I don't know because the link's there. Just go on it. What you sent me a message of. Anyway, Paul Turner, Kelleher, 3 clean sheets on the trot. Yeah, you're right there, Paul. And it's gone political now. Bernadette, he was a dog. Dog. Ian McHale. What a win, everyone. Forest fans singing. Yeah, Andy Carroll. Well, stick that up your pipe and smoke it. Get in there, says Ian McHale. Yeah. And Bar says, Bernard Ingram has had hilariously bushy eyebrows. That wasn't his eyebrows. I think he was doing something with Margaret, to be honest, and it was sticking to his eyebrows, or where his eyebrows were supposed to be. Gary Rigby. I've met loads of students in Liverpool. They love it here. Yes, Gary. Don't forget I used to lecture them. I know a lot of people, even GPs, young medical students who've stayed, they just love it. Well, you've only got to look at the likes of Alan Hansen, Kenny Dalglish, staying here. They stayed, they made their home here. I always remember Mark Lawrence, and when he first came to Liverpool, and he came from Brighton, and he said, he was just in an interview, and he said, when I leave, when I retire from football, I'll be going back to Brighton, to live out with the rest of my life. He lives here, still lives here. And that was just like one of his first interviews. Horrible, bloody women. I could give you great women of the past. Women that you don't even know about. The likes of Mary Wollstonecraft. Unbelievable woman. Mary Bamber. Unbelievable woman. And then you come to the present day, and lunatics are running the world. Women, especially in America, running the world, warmongering neocons. I could name you them. Horrible. Thatcher, remember what she did as well? Horrible. Liz Truss. Would you drop her a nuke, Liz, when she was vying to be Prime Minister? Remember? What did she say? Oh, yes. Without any hesitation. Press the button. Think about that. Think about that, women. I've had me full of bleeding women, to be honest now. Except my daughter. I can't say anything. Made it with. Tally old Frank Lahr, Nunes is a match winner, says Gary Richards. Absolutely. Soul boy. Hi Frank, what a win. Reminded me of Aston Villa game when we won the league, when Mane scored in the last minute. Yeah. Oh. And Neil Bradley, Nunes, yes. Great comments. I loved them. The Manchester ship canal should never have been. Hey, I was on it, believe it or not, with the Rivals. I'm going back a few years ago. I was on Sky Sports, and it was about rivalry. And they said, how did the rivalry start, but not in football? So I told them, I go back to the 19th century. I said, we fed Manchester. Without Liverpool, it would have been finished, Manchester, because of our port. We were feeding them. We were sending all the, the goods all around the country, not just Manchester. I said, and what had happened, we suggested to them that they build a canal from the Mersey, where we are now. I'll tell you where it went, or where it started off. I don't like that museum, on the waterfront, the Liverpool Museum. I don't like that at all. Don't like the architect, don't like the design, I don't like anything about it. But anyway, that's where it was, the Manchester ship canal. And that's what, so we said, yeah, go on, build it. It'll help you. And he built it. So without us, and they thought that they could bring in, all like the cotton and things like that. So what we did, we built like a cotton exchange, and we weighed the cotton and charged them, because they thought they were going to get away with anything. And the Andy Carroll shat all over those Forest fans with that winner. Says Captain Sal. Yes. Yes. Go on, Frank. You tell them such. Something. And Norman, yes. We did. But we didn't pay billions for our kit. Absolutely. Through our academy. And their brother, all our kids were from our academy. Their so-called kids cost 300 million. That's the difference. We brought that little Naomi, though. Is it Naomi? I was looking at him the other night. First time I'd ever seen him, and I didn't know. I didn't know who he was. I thought he was a ball boy. Really, I did. I thought he was a ball boy. When he was like walking. And I said to this fella, and when he started to take his, I said, who's that? He said, it's that young kid, Naomi. I said, who is he? He said, he plays for us. The academy, he's 16, and he looked like a little kid. Fantastic player. I love that dance, though. Love him. Oh, Minerals FC. Big off Frank Nunes next. Ian, yes, I'd go along with that. To be honest, Minerals, the next Ian Rush. But I'll tell you who to look out for as the next Ian Rush. That dance. He's incredible. Kid. And don't forget these kids that came on, like Naomi. They're not much older than my granddaughter who went the game with me. Not much older. She's only 11. The establishment and the football world should know better than to take us on, because we are fighters and we never know when we are beaten. Absolutely. Paul Turner, I gave her a lecture, believe it or not, in Church Street on the 70th anniversary of the May Blitz. And they had me down there. There was loads of dignitaries there, from Parliament. There was all these sports people from our sports people, by the way. There was MPs, well, as I said, the Parliament. And there was veterans, war veterans, Chindits, Wingate's Chindits sitting there. The Burma lads who fought the Japanese. And comedians, and, were from the world of entertainment. And I ended up with Stan Boardman afterwards. But, I get that, it's just like what you've said there, Paul. We never know when we're beaten, because we were the most bombed city outside London. And Boots Hill was the most bombed town in the whole of the country. And you know what? It hardly gets mentioned. The likes of the Grafs Bay, the Scharnhorst, the Bismarck was tracked from here. Tracked from here at the headquarters, the western approaches. Does it get mentioned? No, of course it doesn't. Of course it doesn't. We never get mentioned. Do you know what? Where am I? Getting all excited. Where am I? Oh, no. Oh, come on. There I am. Where was Jason doing that? I'm sorry for that. Neil Broderick, McAllister, man of the match for me today. He was brilliant. He was absolutely brilliant. You could see the class oozed out of him. The class oozed. Where's my guests? Where's my guests? Gonzalez says another link. I'm sure he sent you it, Anyway, it was any of you out there. Who was your man of the match? Who's your man? Who was your man of the match, people? Neil Broderick says McAllister. To be honest, I go along with him. We did beat them in 2020 Cup, though. I hated Clough, arrogant, despicable human. Yes, thank you, Norman. And Clough was pissed most of the time. He carries on and says, "Here's the 12. Top of the league to my top of the league to all my Reds in the chat. If you don't believe in this team, I don't know what it will take to make that change up there." You're coming on here, aren't you, 12th? You're coming on. Because I'll try to explain again, why no guests are on. And I'm just made up reading, the comments by the lads out there. Is Jason was, he had to go to these stables. He had to go to his kids. He had to bring his young daughter home. And his came back. Oh, brilliant. He's going to help me out. And he had to go, so he said, "I'll be back by 6:30 or 7 and send it." And there's Brian. So they'll all be on now. So top of the league to all my Reds, and yes, and I'm going to bring in two lads here. I'm going to bring in K-Mac. Hey, K-Mac, come on.
Come on, how's it going?
Absolutely delighted. I couldn't believe it today, though. What about you?
I know, absolutely amazing. Nunes!
Do you know what? I was talking before about why I loved the win, why it was so sweet for me, was those horrible Forest fans. And you know what their stance was, from last week, when, the only way for us to show any sort of stance, shall I say, against the establishment is when they play the national anthem. That's the only voice what we've got, because of everything that's gone on in our city, or through our city, to our city, to our fans, to cover up everything. But I go back historically, you see. with other social issues. And every time we sang, they booed. That was their way of showing, you do our establishments will be. I hated. I don't use the. I don't use that. It's not in my vocabulary. Hate. The word hate is not in my. But I hated that. So, what did you think about the game itself?
It's a really tough fixture. Forest away for us. Has been for a long time. It's never been a good ground to go to. We've dropped points there quite a lot. Nottingham Forest have got a really good team. Like I'm not really sure why they're in the bottom. Like, I'm not really sure why they're not like in the top 10. Like every single player they've got is an international. Every single player. Like even the subs came off the bench were internationals. I'm like, why are you so shit? It doesn't really make any sense. I mean, we kind of battered them in a way, if I'm honest. We had a lot of chances. We had a lot of possession. We had a lot of the ball around their box. We just didn't have anyone to put it in the net. Like,
No.
like ever since I said Gakpo was a bag man, he's been a bag woman. He's been absolutely awful ever since I said he was a bag man. So I'm going to shut up now, and I'm not going to talk about players anymore.
But can I ask you that? I'll go to. He's been waiting, Brian. Brian, what did you think of? Did you watch the game first and foremost?
Yeah. Hi, Frank. Hi, K-Mac. Hi, 12 man.
Hey, mate.
It was, yourself, it was on the blackout, so I had to, watching it, using it nefarious means, so it meant switching around a couple of times, but I got to watch most of it, and it looked like it was going down one of those, you could play for 2 days and you're not going to score kind of games, but just credit to that bit. McAllister started showing bits of composure there in the midfield. Turnout, like he had his head on, he wasn't going to be rushed off the ball, and just that bit of calmness on the ball to pick out just to turn inside, take another touch, cross the ball in. That's absolutely brilliant. Like Nunes was in the right place, did his job, but without that bit of composure, even with seconds left, but I wasn't, like I said, that's not good for the heart, man. 98 minutes to that, like it wasn't like. And when he comes on, they started creating a few chances because like K-Mac is saying it, and we were talking about it last night. The front four we were looking at if Awani played, Gibbs White, Callum Hudson-Odoi, Alanga, Awani. These are all good big players as well. They're a big physical side, and like I think to K-Mac's point, the only reason, like I was kind of joking, if you buy 400 players, you're going to end up with 12 good ones. But I think his squad turnover really, K-Mac, is all it is. They've just had so much upheaval. And then they sack a manager. Like a good manager that goes in there with a settled enough squad, they are 12th, 11th, 10th. They are. I've said they're a really good side. But I'm with you, Frank. They deserved it because those fans, there's something about that part of the world. You'll know better than me, but there's other clubs in that part of the world as well. Yeah. Because they deserved absolutely horrible, really horrible stuff. Yeah,
absolutely. And I've got friends who were down there today, and they just said the same. And what it made it, as they say, what it made the win all the sweeter is just beating them. Yes,
they're vile fans.
Oh, I'm going to go to our lovely 12th man. Obviously, you're saying it without any nefarious means.
Yeah.
Like Christopher Lee and the Hammer production of, Dracula. But anyway, what did you think today, 12?
Well, I agree with Brian. It wasn't necessarily good for the heart per se, but as they say also, whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So I can only say that, you never give up you never give up with this team. You just can't. You just got to keep holding on and hoping and believing, and that's what. And this team delivers more times than not. It delivers, and it's why I said if you don't know, if this team hasn't convinced you to just enjoy the ride, then I don't know what is going to take to make you understand that this team is different, and it's just ingrained in a lot of these players' souls, and the sheer fact that I think that there's so many different factors and reasons why you're seeing this brilliance, but Nunez, you know what I mean? That's what it comes down to.
To be honest, I said at the beginning of this pod, I said, I think we're going to win it. I really do. I believe now. On the first time I've ever heard mentality monsters came from K-Mac. That was the first time I ever heard that. Mentality monsters. And it just carries on, and it was K-Mac. Do you ever remember saying that once upon a time?
I probably copied it off someone. Like, I'm not copyrighting that. I probably copied that off someone else. But I tell you who was incredible today. Queven Kelleher. My God, this guy. Like, did you see some of his chipped passes? Like, he's got a golf club as a foot. Honestly, like you've got guys who are like closing him down, and he just lobs them and puts it into onto the Robinson or over to Bradley. He is
bravery.
I'll tell you what, man, we got one hell of a goalkeeper on our hands there. Like give that guy some games now. Well, Ali's out for a while, so.
Well, he's out. How long is he out for? Do you reckon until next
I think it's a couple more. I think it's a couple more weeks.
Oh,
I think he's had a relapse of the hamstring again.
Okay, but then again, and I'll go to Brian on this. We've got the best goalkeeper in the world without a shadow of a doubt. All right, he's a little bit injured. I remember you saying that ages ago as well, K-Mac, that he was injured. He's likely to get injured through the season. I remember you saying that as well. Now I'll go to Brian. Brian, suppose in a couple of weeks' time, Ali's fit. He's back, he's back, he's training, he's doing whatever. Would you have him in the side? Don't forget where we are now. And if we're on still top of the league, we beat City next week, and then the break. Would you have him back if he was fit after the international break?
Yeah, he'd come back in for me into the league, without a doubt. It's unfortunate for Kelleher. If it was a couple of more weeks after that, who knows? Maybe it might be a different question, because Ali would have been out for so long. But I think the idea, without going into it too much, I think the idea would be to get Ali back in the team, and I wouldn't be against it. I think I'm happy with that. It is just one of those things where you can't play two goalkeepers, but
no.
Kelleher has just shown us that we should never have to worry about it. I was never worried before. Like, all we had to do was look at what he did in the previous two cup finals. You knew he had the mentality to do that, so I was never worried about it. He only needed time to get back in the team and warm up and show what you can do. But it's the shirt is Ali's, I think.
What about you, K-Mac? Would you, if he was fit, would you have him straight back into the side?
I wouldn't have him straight back in the side because he got injured last time we did that. So I'd just make sure he's 100%. Like he's our number one goalkeeper and he plays. That is a fact. Like if I had a choice of him or Kelleher for the Man City game, I'd pick Ali all day long. Like, that's just the way it is. But I just noticed that him and Virgil are building up a really good relationship together.
Yes.
And Virgil's waxing lyrical about him as well, and rightly so. Like he pulled off two unbelievable one-on-one saves today. Like Elanga should have scored. Like I'd love to see the XG on those two chances.
Yeah.
Because they must have been really high. his distribution is just phenomenal. Like I've never seen a goalkeeper so good with his feet. Like seriously, like he is really, like he's really making me go, whoa.
Are you talking about the save in the first half when the lads was 1-on-1 and
yeah, and there was one in the second half as well, which he saved.
His left, and he saved it with his foot. That was incredible. I thought he was offside though.
You got to play. You got to play all the time now, haven't you? You can't. You can't just like wait and see whether the flag goes up. You've got to play.
No, I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
And obviously, Quaheen, he didn't know that either. He thought that lad was bearing down on him, and what a save, as you said. And he's Ali-esque, and he's been doing it now for ages. Since he's been out, especially against Chelsea. On last Sunday, absolutely amazing. What do you think, Brian? About him. About the way Kelleher is playing now.
Well, it puts him in a position now because there's been like the word on the street, as they say in Ireland, but in the press has been always since say the last 2 seasons has been generally along the lines of. He knows he's good enough to play. He knows he's not going to get in ahead of Alisson, so he knows he needs to lead. And reluctant as he would be, there will come a point in the next season or a season and a half that he will take that step and go on. Unless something were to happen, which hasn't happened yet, say Alisson leaves and he gets promoted. So it has always been to that point. And I just think it's fantastic because, he's for Ireland, for him to play for Ireland, I think is a given anyway. Bazunu Southampton is keeping the shirt at the moment, but I just think it's kind of inevitable that he was going to leave because he's too good to not be playing. But I think these performances now have given him an opportunity probably to move to a higher level of club that mightn't have been as prepared to take to spend money on him before. I think he's done his future career prospects a lot of good. I'd be very surprised if he does want to stay at Liverpool because he just, he's kind of getting to 25 now. If he's going to be on the bench again next year, because he can be playing Premier League football week in, week out for a club like Brighton or Brentford or anyone up around that level, even in Newcastle, in my opinion. Aston Villa, I think he's good enough to play for all of those clubs. And for him, I think that's what he's going to do. But then at the same time, I think we have a goalkeeper who we could rightfully ask an awful lot of money for. So a club has to be prepared to spend a large chunk of their potential transfer budget on a goalkeeper and not a world famous goalkeeper. So it's interesting to see how it works because transfers, how difficult they are. So,
but when we were going in, I don't know whether you'll agree with me. I don't know where 12 man's gone.
You can see why Tottenham. You can see why Tottenham were looking at him. You can see exactly why Tottenham were looking at him. He's a similar type of goalkeeper to the one they've got, but he's obviously just a lot better, like with his feet as well. But you can tell, like why Ange Postecoglou was looking at him.
I was going to say when we were after the goalkeeper, and Alisson was mentioned, I said to myself, I said to Francine as well, my daughter, I said, I'd like Oblak. Do you ever remember him?
Oh, he's quality. Yeah.
He's still a good goalkeeper.
Yeah. Well, just imagine if he was sold, Ali, I'm not saying he's going, but if he was, I'd still go after that Oblak because he never seems to get injured. And over to you, 12. I don't know whether you was listening to the conversation.
Yeah.
If Ali's fit, would you have him straight back in the side? If he was fit, 100% fit, would you have him back in the side over Kelleher?
That's a very good question. Goalkeeping is very difficult to take a goalkeeper out that is on a run, like Kelleher and other goalkeepers that you've seen really get on. However, Ali's our starting keeper. When he comes back and he's healthy, I think even Kelleher knows that he's just keeping that place warm, keeping that spot warm for him when he returns. Yeah. I would, if there's anything, I would ask Brian, how do you say in Gaelic, put some respect on my name so I can understand what he says when what Kelleher is probably saying to a lot of people, because that's what I think a lot of people need to do if they haven't been doing already. It's very, very it's not very likely that you come across a team that has a quality number 2 goalkeeper like we do in the wings, waiting and can just absolutely, hold it down for us, and that's what Kelleher did.
Okay, that's good. I was just looking for some. Something. Look, I want to talk about this young lad, and I'm going straight to you, K-Mac. Okay, then I'm going around to you, Brian, then to you, 12th, then over to you, JK. Okay, K-Mac. This Dan's has impressed me every time he has come on. The lad has a bright future ahead of him. I haven't heard you mention at all about this, Dan's. I haven't had a chance to speak to you, to be honest, K-Mac. What do you think of that particular comment, and what do you think about this young kid?
I'm also going to throw another player into the mix, which I've raved about for a while now. Bobby Clark. Bobby Clark was brilliant today. But would you even have known that Bobby Clark, that's his 3rd Premier League game? Just had a great game, just solid. Didn't give the ball away. I think he's in his 90s. In every game he's played, he's in the 90s for pass completion. Tries to create, runs his heart off, gets involved in a lot of the play. Bobby Clark's sensational. Jayden Danns today probably won us the game, if I'm honest, because he injured their goalkeeper and their goalie didn't save that shot, that header, because he couldn't get down to it. It's that's probably because Jayden Danns probably injured him, completely took him out when he came on the pitch, and could have got a penalty, if I'm honest. Danns probably could have got a penalty.
But we had Cerny's, didn't we? So
forget
about that, penalties.
He's just awful. Can we do a petition, against referees? If we get 10,000 signatures, then it gets announced to the PGMOL that we don't want these referees. It's just a joke. It's just an absolute joke. But Jayden Danns is brilliant for me. Every time I see him play, he's involved. Yeah. How do you get involved at such a young age? In games, you're a kid. You're not supposed to be in the thick of the action, from minute one. But he is. He's becoming a bit of a player. And he's a unit. He is a unit. He gets himself around. Klopp.
And he's big, isn't he? He's a big lad.
I think Klopp's going to start using him. Honestly, everyone sat there and went, "Oh, you know what? When we get Nunes and Salah and Sabulsa and Curtis Jones, and we get these players back, then we're never going to see these guys again."
No,
I don't think so.
No, they're
I think Bobby Clark and Jayden Danns and McConnell might be around a bit longer than you think.
Yeah, I quite believe that. I think the part now. I think the part of the first team squad, and we'll be able to rotate as well. But we've got to get out. It makes no difference. I'll go over to Brian here. What just JK said there about? I'm sorry. What K-Mac said there about young Danns. What's your take on this young kid? Do you think that he's a part, and young Bobby Clark? Do you think that they are part now of the first team squad, even to rotate as well.
Well, they can't do much more, can they? Dan's, I know he didn't. He played well today, but he didn't score. But the other night, what a performance! What an announcement of a player. He showed us natural born finisher.
Yeah.
Like the guys said, it was the kind of. It takes you a while, but it was only when he was standing beside someone a couple of times I realized, like K-Mac is saying, the guy is he's enormous. He's at least 2 inches taller than Kanate or than Gakpo. Gakpo is tall. Is that on mine? Is that noise on me?
Can you mute JK? His feedback's like.
Oh yeah, is it
on the motorway?
Hang on a minute. Let's just remove him a minute. Let's see.
Yeah, just like the boys are saying, he's just huge, and that's what you need in the modern game. To be back in the day, anybody that was that big, they were just a big guy. They were never going to be athletic, but he's big, he's quick, he's got technique, he's got everything. I think I would definitely have and this shows you we're not even talking about Conor Bradley because we're just assuming Conor Bradley's in the first team squad. It's like for me, I think he's up there. McConnell and Clark. I don't know how many more minutes they'll get. I think Dan's has given himself a shout, definitely in the Europa League and the cup games. I'd be really happy to see us. Well, it's Man United, isn't it? I was going to say it's to see Dan start the cup game, but it's Man United, so you never know. But I think he's in there. Yeah, I think Dan's, Bradley, Clark. I think they'll all be there till the end of the season with maybe decreasing roles to play, but still roles to play.
Yeah. So do you reckon, I'll talk about that a bit later on about the Prague game, which is this coming Thursday. What about Dan's CU12? Is he and young Bobby Clark and McConnell, all these younger lads? I'm not talking about Bradley now because he's established. In my opinion, he's established. He's the established right back, in my opinion. Right. So what about Dan's and the likes of young Bobby Clark and McConnell? All these lads, do you think now they are part, and you wouldn't be afraid if Klopp had brought them on, or even started with one or two of them?
Sure.
When all our stars, are fit.
Sure. I did say on your show that I thought Dan's would possibly get the start today, but that was when I didn't know that Nunez or any of the players would be back. But I was even still somewhat tempted to start him even with the players back because I thought that Nunez was probably going to be utilized more so off the bench than as a starter today. So I had to look up. What's funny about it? I had to look up because I thought the same thing. There was one moment when it was a cross, and we had so many corners today. So many corners. At least we had over 10, I think 11 corners or something like that. At least 11 corners. And there was a time when Dan was in the box, and he was like somewhat towering over some of the other guys in the box. And I'm like, he's a pretty tall guy. And then the comment earlier, and I looked it up, and he's 6 feet tall. Apparently, that's what it has it listed at. Maybe the hair pushes it up an inch or two, and that's why we think he's a lot taller than he actually is. Because he's tall, he's smaller than I'm taller than him, but I do like to think I'm tall. But all the same, when I saw him in that box, I saw the energy. It was one of those things where I was just like, you could tell that he has so much energy, but he just needed to just take one step, take one moment to breathe somewhat. And then, because that's why, he got the yellow card for going into the goalkeeper. I thought that it was a pen in the box against him when he got pulled down, basically tackled, And then I've heard Forest fans out there screaming, oh, we deserve the pen later on. And I'm like, if that call wasn't called, then that soft call that you guys are trying to get is not getting called whatsoever. So,
what
but
was you
going back
going
to
to
fans,
say?
yeah.
What was you going to say? You tried to butt in there, K-Mac. What was you
No,
going to
I
say?
just said it was the same. Like it was the same. Like
Yeah.
it was a
Yeah.
penalty. Like he got dragged to the floor.
Yeah.
How many times has that happened to us? Like Jota gets that done to him all the time.
All the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
All the time, Jota.
I actually loved it when he barged the goalkeeper, because I was thinking he wants to score that much that he just wants to score with the goalkeeper holding the ball as well. Like just take the whole lot in.
Yeah. You could tell the team was pressing though, because I mean, even Robbo's foul, even Robbo's yellow card was just full tilt. Let's just we're just going to press and we're going to go hard at it today.
We really have to take Harvey Elliott off corners. He's really not good at taking corners. Like we had 11 corners. I think he took like 4, and they were crap.
Yeah.
Yeah. One or two were
corner taker.
So I'm at that.
Listen, boys, I'm going to JK here, and I was mentioning, obviously, that I was mentioning about young Dan's and his part now. Would you say of the first team squad, and would you be worried if he actually started a game? Don't forget we're fighting on all these fronts. So would you be worried if say the likes of like this Jota out, unfortunately? Do you think he'd be a fine replacement for Jota? I'll leave that with you, JK.
Yeah, evening, guys. Good win today.
Big up, JK.
Bless, brave.
Yeah, take it.
Big up,
Easy
JK.
one. Everyone seems happy. I tell you the truth, Dan's came on and what he did, he just got about. And I like that when a player comes on the pitch and gets about and sort of disrupts their rhythm. I'm not gonna big him up saying he's the greatest thing, but I'm just happy that he's a bit of a fighter in him. It's good to see that in a youth player, some fight. And when he came on the pitch today, you can see it that he was he wanted us to win that game, and I'm happy he did that. So I've got no worries. Even every youth player that's coming to the team, I have to respect their game and their attitude, their will to win. So it's good for the injured players not being there. These guys have stepped up, and we can't really moan. We can't moan about no one really, actually. Maybe Gakpo a little bit, but but we can't really moan about nothing today. We've got a last-minute winner on the top of the league.
I'm glad you brought that. Rather than me, can I come into you, K-Mac? I'm going to start with you here. I hope you don't mind. You can say you can finish what he was saying there if you wanted to butt in. But here's my take now, and it's actually, I have to say it. Please, I have to say this. The other fella, Gakpo. Now, as I said, when I was at the game the other night, I just looked at him. I was just looking at him, and I was looking at his movement, and so I felt sorry for him. I was looking at his face, and I just felt so sorry for him, because to me, he seemed that he didn't know where to play. He just didn't know where to play at all. And like today, when that ball that crossed the corner came over, and this big Verge ready to volley it, and he shouted, to let it go to Gakpo, but he messed it up, unfortunately.
Yeah.
What do you think there, K-Mac? Come on, please be honest about
I think I cursed him by calling him a bagman and giving you all of those stats because he's been stinky since. I don't know. Like I mean, even the game against Southampton, that run from midfield was just majestic. Like in the 90th minute, and I thought he's going to put that in the top bin, and we're all just going to go, yeah, okay, mate. But he bloomed it out the ground. I don't know. I don't think we'd have scored that goal today if Gakpo was on the pitch, because I felt like Dan being in the box was more of a threat, and they were more preoccupied with Dan, and that's why Núñez ended up being free, because he didn't have a marker like Núñez. Like I think he had Nico Williams marking him. And he's not the tallest of the lads. So, maybe if Dance wasn't there, that might have been a Murillo or one of their other tall players might have been on him. It's an interesting one. I don't know. I think Gakpo just needs to get played on the left. Like, I think the issue with Gakpo is he's been the guy which is like supposed to be the most experienced one, like in attack type wise, and everyone's expecting him to be like the main guy in attack, but he hasn't got anyone around him really apart from Diaz. He's kind of got like Harvey Elliott, who doesn't really play there that much, and then he's got like a makeshift midfield. So I think we should really judge Gakpo in a full squad more, like because he'll get more chances.
To be honest, I've judged him when we have had a full squad. He's been with us, since a year last.
I've said this anyway on a different show. It might have been on this show or a different show. The new manager's going to sell Gravenberch and Gakpo. The new manager will get rid of both of them. That's just a fact. They're just not good enough for Liverpool. It's just a fact. Okay.
Okay. I'll go to Brian on that. Again about Gakpo.
I'm not excusing Gakpo. I've just said.
Oh no.
Everyone's saying I'm excusing Gakpo. I'm not. I just said the new manager will sell them.
No, you're not, because it's all opinion. It's all about. I'm not saying even criticism. As I said, I just felt so sorry for him the other night. I really did. I felt sorry for him today. But as you said, if he would have been on the field today, we mightn't have scored that. I mean, through the game, instead of being substituted, we mightn't have scored, as you said. So there was a different, little system there, and a person who knows where he's going. As I said, he was lost the other night. I was looking at it. He was lost. It was Gakpo. And I was thinking, he's not at the level that we need. And he's been with us for over a year. So how long does it take? I don't like criticising our players. I really don't. But how long does it take for anyone to settle in? I'll go over to you, Brian, about Gakpo, then to you, 12th, and then to you, Lee. Brian.
Yeah, I'm with you, Frank. I think he's. I've always said it that with Gakpo, it was just the lack of a definitive position and a place in the team. It's just his versatility was his downfall. That he was never able. It was never like he's our left winger, he's our false nine, he's our whatever. It was just mix and match wherever we needed him. And to me, I'm with you. He looks lost. He doesn't look. He's a good player. Obviously, he's an excellent footballer. Clearly he's no mug, but he hasn't found that kind of that comfort zone, that sweet spot at Liverpool yet to call his own and know that he's part of the team and he shows out on the pitch. Where it's like I'm with what K-Mac said, when you're looking at the squad, I think there's a large proportion of that squad that you can say aren't going anywhere. But there's a couple of players that I think you have a potential for a new manager to come in and go, I'm going to build my midfield around you, or I'm going to build my forward line around you, or no, he's not for me. I don't like him. I mean, and Gravenberch and Gakpo are the two that I always mention. I think Gakpo is very much a manager's player, and Klopp wanted him, and I think Gakpo could easily be the same. Unfortunately, I think a new manager coming in could go, well, if I can get 40 million for him, he's not exactly my type. So he hasn't settled, and you can see he hasn't settled. But then the thing is there, like K-Mac was talking about calling him a bagman. He did it for a reason. The guy can finish. He's got all the ability in the world. So it's unfortunate. We we want to see them all thrive and do well, but it could just be a simple fact of a new manager, a new position, new lease of life, clean slate.
Well, that's what K-Mac has said. If a new manager comes in, the first thing that'll happen is that if anyone's going to be sold, it'll be the likes of Gakpo and Gravenberch, and I'll go over to the 12th. Go on, what was you going to say there, Brian?
No, just if a new manager was told, I can get by a sporting director that can tell you I can get you 50 for Gravenberch and 35, 40 for Gakpo. What's that? That's 90 million, 80, 90 million quid.
Yeah.
I think they're expendable.
Yeah,
I think they are.
Yeah, I think that's the terminology that was being looked at. What about you, 12th man, and about, I've always said about the level that we need, and I don't think that Gakpo is at that level. What's your take?
So I can understand that people are saying what they're saying about Cody. I'm disappointed in the fact of his level currently, because I think, along with what Brian just mentioned, I think that he is an excellent player. I think that he has skills, and I think he does have that level. I think people are suspect to forget that last year he played well. When we got him in, he played well. There were people that were saying how he's our next false nine, he's the next Bobby Regen, all these different takes. And then, he kind of cooled off a little bit towards the end of the year, but the team did in general once we got to those last two games. But this year, he was playing well in the very beginning of the season. It was when he got injured in that Newcastle game, which he ended up getting injured, still muscling on to score a goal in that game, despite us losing, despite us not losing, excuse me. The Spurs game, I believe it was. I said Newcastle, I meant Spurs match. And despite us losing that match, he still ended up getting a goal in that match. And he's played well, whether it was against Lask where he had a brace, whether it was against Bournemouth or against Fulham where he had a goal. He's shown some bits of like the Gakpo that we know, or at least some of us have seen with that precision. But he just is. Sometimes as a striker, especially, you kind of you're pressing the envelope so much, you're wanting to score so much that your balance is off. It seems like he just doesn't have that. He's just not in tune with his other teammates and even with himself at the moment. And that's unfortunate, but that's what we're seeing. That's why we saw today with the Virgil calling for it. And he's still saying, probably in his mind, he didn't even hear Virgil. Probably was just thinking, I want to score because I want to contribute. He's used to contributing on that level. So do I think Cody can get back to that level? Absolutely. I think any player can. It's just a matter of commitment, hard work, and dedication. I believe he has that in his locker, and I think he wants to contribute to this team. He's well liked, and I think that he's a good player. But at the moment, he's just not in that zone, and hopefully he can find it.
Okay, I think that's a fair comment there. I really do, a fair assessment. Before I go to the VARs here, Lee, Ian McHale says, I was listening to Steve Hunter and John Aldo commentary on LFC TV. Sounded like Gakpo struggled to make any impact today. Over to you, Lee.
Yeah, it wasn't his best game in a Liverpool shirt, but as far as I'm concerned, Cody Gakpo's done enough so far to show that he's going to be a hit in the Premier League and in a Liverpool shirt. I think he has. The jury's out on Ryan still a bit, but Ryan's only just arrived. Don't forget he's been here since the summer. And it's not an easy league to just walk into and start performing. It was like the Endo thing when there was a lot of so-called Liverpool fans saying Endo was rubbish because he didn't win man of the match in his first few games. I mean, what was he meant to do in his first few games? Come on now.
Well, he has. He's in double figures. He's in double figures, the lad. But as the 12th says, it's still there. It doesn't leave you. It's like riding a bike, to be honest. Once you've ridden a bike, it never leaves you. So he has got the protect. I'm just going on what the 12th says, and he still has this type of potential. But God blimey, I'm fed up talking about potential. You've only got to look at young Bradley, for example. Young Bradley's very consistent. And all as I'm saying about Cody is that he's so inconsistent. So inconsistent. And we don't need inconsistencies at this level if we're fighting on every front. Don't forget, this is the second time within 2 years that we're fighting for every trophy possible. Every trophy possible. So we don't really need to carry anybody. We're carrying people. We are carrying, and I'm saying about not just Cody, for example, but also Gravenberg. Gravenberg started to play well until he got injured last week, by the way.
Didn't he
Yeah, he was playing well, but the unfortunate thing, that injury could cost him, in my opinion. Could cost him. And then you've got Thiago. Come on, Thiago. People say, what a great player. People even want him, saying, like, if he's fit, I'd have him straight into the team. Sod off. Sod off with all that garbage coming out and saying that. And I'm fed up with bleeding Mbappe as well, getting mentioned. Anyway, I'm going over to JK. And again, about Gakpo, what's your assessment on him? So far, and I'm talking from last season, by the way, as well, from when we bought him in the January window till now.
Yeah, I think that Man United game where we got 2 goals, that's the best of him. These last 3 games, that's the worst of him. So he's a 5th choice attacker in the 5-man attack. He knows he's not going to be starting. That sort of messes up your game as well. He's had this opportunity, and I think he's sort of failed it. But at the end of the day, we've won all 3 games. I'm not going to really moan about this topic because I feel, as some guys have said, that he's just come into the Premier League, him and Gravenberch. And to have 2 Dutch internationals on the subs bench when we got a fit squad, it's okay. I think we're at a phase now. We're top of the league. Okay, we just won the League Cup last week. There's no real need to moan. I think as fans need to think, you know what we're going to do next? Good times, we leave the moaning to other teams. I think that's one good thing about Liverpool. We don't really moan, like, say, United, Arsenal. They do 24/7s, and I don't really like that sort of energy in our club. I think if there's I think Gakpo could have played better. We've seen bits and bobs when he plays, what he can do. So we know there's something in there. If he's never done it before, then you can moan. But we've seen it, he's done it. And sometimes it's a patience game, So if he starts on Thursday, maybe he knows himself he needs to get a goal. So us guys moaning about it all the time, on social media and stuff like that. The guy's got social media, he's got a phone, he can read it in 2 seconds if he wanted to. I think leave them sort of things alone, Support the guys. We could win the league. And he's been part of that as well. So,
no, absolutely. I'm going to read 2 comments out here, and I'm going to came back again. Start off with you, right? And this one's from Realism Jared. What would be hilarious is if free score and fluids Arsenal drop points to Sheffield. Arsenal think all their games will be 3, 4, 5 goals. Business end of the teams are much more gritty and give more. And this one here, I think, is a cracking comment. Mark Simons. Now, Mark, he's over there in Spain or Portugal. He's over there, lives over there. And he says, we are seeing some of the greatest crop of Irish players since Jennings and Brady came at.
I think that's a bit over the top, if I'm honest, but because they were insane players. But yeah, I mean, Creven Kelleher isn't even the first choice goalkeeper for Ireland, by the way. It's Bazumu, who plays for Southampton.
He is when he plays, Cayman. He is when he
Yeah,
plays.
no, he should be. He should be the first choice goalkeeper, mate. 100%.
Yeah, as soon as he's starting, he gets a shirt.
No. I mean, Bradley's going to be a great player. I look. I'm not moaning, okay? I'm not moaning about what's going on. Like I think we're doing things just the right way. We do things. Like, yeah, okay, we score a 98th minute winner. Brilliant. Man City scored last minute goals as well to win them games. You know, they've done it. They've done it last year, like, to win games. They did it the year before to win games. You know, that's the way they play as well. I love the fact that Arsenal are putting like 150% into all their games, and they are. And they're working their asses off with their full squad to just win games. And then they still look at the table and go, oh, we're still third.
No, that's true, though.
It's the last 10 games. That's the deal breaker. That's when it really matters. And look who's getting all their players back for the last 10 games.
Yeah.
That'll be us.
Yeah.
And look, you'll be getting more injuries because they're working 150% to win their games now. That'll be them.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to you, Brian, then to you.
I will say, though, next year, no matter what manager we've got, Bradley isn't our first choice right back. Sorry, he just isn't. Like, they will buy a top player if Trent goes into midfield, or they will play Trent as right back. That's just a fact. And I think Bradley's amazing. But that is just what will happen, because that's just the way of the world.
Well,
Played 10 games. He's played 10 games for Liverpool. Like,
I think he's brilliant. I think the lads is absolutely brilliant myself, personally. But then again, you know, everything is based on opinions. And I'll go over to, and then I'll go to Brian, then you, 12, then you, Lee, and then finally JK on those two little comments. Well, I'll go to what that Mark Simon says. We are seeing some of the greatest crop of Irish players since Jennings and Brady. Now, don't forget, he never mentioned, did he, Georgie? He never mentioned Georgie. So, what's your take on that, Brian?
Well, I don't think it holds water if you look at the Irish team right now. We have one good goalkeeper. Bradley plays for Northern Ireland, so that's Northern Ireland's problem, not my problem. Don't care what he does up there. You know, since Brady and Jennings, we've had, just off the top of my head, Givens, Staunton, Roy Keane, Damien Duff, Robbie Keane. We've had a lot of great players since then, and Kelleher and Bradley, okay, they're good. You know, one of them is an Irish goalkeeper. The other thing, actually, that might be standing in Kelleher's way in terms of getting the Irish shirt back is we've just appointed John O'Shea as manager, so maybe he might not want to put him in goal. Maybe one of these Liverpool lads sitting on the bench. But you know, it's it's nice to see, but we've got a couple of kids knocking around. One at Luton, there's one down there at Southampton with Bazunu, but we don't have much. No, it's not a great time for Irish football, truth be told, Frank.
Okay, well, over to you, 12. You know, you mightn't remember the likes of Liam Brady. Liam Brady, who played for Arsenal, he never said it really came. He was unbelievable, and I always remember at Anfield standing in the cop about Pat Jennings, and it's the first time I've ever seen this in my entire life. He goes over, the ball just goes out, and he goes over, and he picks it up with his hand. He picked it up.
Yeah, he had basketball players' hands, didn't he? He
had
basketball player hands.
Unbelievable. And that just resonates with me even today when someone mentions the likes of Pat Jennings. And he's a forgotten goalkeeper, because to me, the greatest goalkeeper I've ever seen in my entire life, And I actually seen him play, funny enough, at Goodison, and it was in the '66 World Cup, was Lev Yashin,
He is the best. He is the best.
Black cat. He was unbelievable, that fella. Unbelievable. But, Jennings picked the ball up like that. But
I've got to jump, guys. All right, man. Great show, though.
Oh, no, you go on.
Yeah, I've got some commitments.
Honestly, okay, man, it's always there for you. You know that.
Okay, man.
Up the Reds. Up the Reds. Big up, guys.
Absolutely. See you later. Thank you. That was, Pat Jennings and Brady. Brady was one of the greatest. He was a midfielder, wasn't he? He was in
left winger. Yeah, he played for Juve. He went to Italy when only the best in the world played for AC. Played for Juve. He went and he was one of the best players in Italian football. He's famous in England. He's obviously really famous in Ireland, but he's an absolute legend in it. Liam Brady is a proper legend in it for two of the biggest clubs out there. I'll tell you a good one, Frank, a quick one about Pat Jennings. In the 80s, right? Because remember, these guys are retired and they had to make a few quid extra, So in the 80s, my aunt and uncle opened up in Waterford now in Ireland. It's a really small town in Ireland. About 50,000 people, right? Opened up a new painting and decorating store, wallpaper and paint and all that. And they paid Pat Jennings to open it for him. And he sat there for the night and signed autographs. There was queues out the door, people bringing books and jerseys and programs and cups and all this stuff. He sat there for hours, signed autographs. We all met him. Everybody met him. Nicest bloke in the world. And like you say, the biggest hands you've ever seen. Just ridiculous. Well, he was a gent. He was an absolute gent. Just opening a painting and decorating store for my aunt and uncle. Signing autographs all night.
But when he did that, when he picked that ball up, someone behind me, I don't know, I have the clue, just came out and said, he's got a pair of hands like a pair of wood shovels. He swore like shovels. And look at him. But as you said, he seemed like a gentleman, to be honest. And that was a great Tottenham side, by the way. They had great players. But then again, Liam Brady, to me, was outstanding. I would have loved him to have played for us because he was so outstanding. But anyway, I'm going over to you. I'm going over to you, 12.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about Kelleher, right? Mm-hmm. And I think we have the top number 2 keeper in Kelleher. Gonna be hard to retain him as he is a special goalkeeper. So when the other fella's fit, Allison, and next season, it'll have to be next season, obviously. Do you think that this is his last season at Liverpool? 12.
Ooh. Well, considering that he's going to have a pretty lengthy run of games to basically showcase his talents and his abilities to take on that first keeper title for if not our team, if not another team. That's certainly going to be the case. I'm hoping and wishing the best for every player. Obviously, I would much rather prefer that he stays with us, that he continues to. It's obvious that if we are in this case, and all due respect to our Spanish goalkeeper Adrian, but I mean realistically, if we were in this case, I don't think a lot of us would be breathing as easy as we are with Kelleher between the pipes. So I hope that he plays to a level where people will consider that. I hope that he plays to a level that if he is going to want, and if he is going to get an exit from this team to another team, that it's not a team in the Prem. I don't necessarily want to see him stopping our own goals. But I will say that at least I hope that this performance gets him a proper move to a proper team, gets us obviously a proper penny back And yeah, I would like for the best for him. But for right now, I'm just focused on him playing for our club and holding it down for us primarily. And that's what I foresee. And if you will give me just one second to also address something, because I know Anfield Roar was trying to engage with me with my comment. I did say I'm disappointed in Cody. I just want to make clarification at least. I did say that I was disappointed in Cody in his performances as of late, and I think that's because I hold him to a high standard. I know you said that the potential is kind of frustrating, knowing a player. The worst thing sometimes for a player is to say potential, because it means that he hasn't risen to that level. But what I wanted to say, though, I was asked about his goals, and I think that where we sometimes forget is that maybe his goals he's got 10 plus goals and 10 plus assists this year, so if he was one of those players that wasn't in that range, I'd say, okay, maybe he's not contributing, but he is contributing because we are on 4 fronts that we're doing. So yes, I just want to make sure that, I believe context is important. And like I said, I was asked about Cody's goals. I mean, he scored in Luton, he scored at Brentford, he had an assist against Bournemouth, but he had a game winner. People forget about this. He had a game winner at Fulham, a Fulham game that was very important for us. Okay. And then he also had a goal against Newcastle, a goal against West Ham. He had 2 against Lask. He had a goal against Bournemouth. A goal against Leicester was an important goal as well, because that got us through in these cup games. So I get that sometimes he's not showing his level at the moment, and we could use him considering that we're so low on our superstars being on this team. But, when he has, let's not act like he hasn't contributed at some points of this year. And that's what I would like to say. I'm not saying I'm not trying to give him a pass right now for his level, but I am saying that he has.
I know I'm saying that he hasn't, because, you've only got to look at the goals he scored last season. Was it this season? No. Who was it he scored? It was a cracking against Man United in the 7-0 drubbing.
Yes.
That first goal, absolutely magical, that first goal, because he sidetracked the ball from Robertson, then he went to go that way, then he went this way, and he just buried it in the corner with
the Man U game. Yeah.
Fantastic goal.
The 7-up game, basically. Yeah, that game was that goal that he scored was one of the best goals I've seen a striker score recently, I should say, at least. Yeah.
And the dink over De Gea, absolutely brilliant. But he had even the header the other week when McAllister, just blasted it across, and he put his head to it and went in. Great goal. It was a great goal. No one's disputing the fact. Really, no one.
Some people are. Some people are. That's why I had to bring context to it. That's the reason why I put it up. Not the panel. I'm not saying the panel necessarily. I'm just saying. No. I'm just trying to give some merited defense. But all the same, I'm saying his potential is there. I'm not saying I'm happy with the results I've seen from Cody. But obviously, I'm just hoping that we can see it again.
Okay. What about you, Lee? And the likes of Gakpo, the likes of Kelleher, would Kelleher be sold in the summer? Which he will, in my opinion. He's bound to go. And the likes of Gakpo, what K-Max said before, it looks as though if a new manager comes in, he'd be sold, Gakpo. And just imagine if he was sold along with Gravenberch and along with Kelleher. Now, don't forget, these lads are going to contribute to what we hope will win this season. We've already won, and they did contribute, by the way, to winning the Carabao Cup. So, what's your take on that? 3 players possibly going. Not only, how do you think it would be to ordinary Liverpool fans like us? Then we have to bring in another keeper, don't we? Because Adrian, put it that way, he'd have to bring in another keeper. Go on.
Adrian's a dud, isn't he? Like that he got us knocked out of Champions League. We could have retained that if he didn't do that mistake. We just done the hard work and beat them, and then he went and done that, and we were out from that one mistake. Kelleher, selling him, can't see that. No, because he's homegrown as well. Will he get in ahead of Alisson? No, Alisson's a better goalie currently, but Alisson's a lot older than Queven. As far as Gakpo's concerned, anyone that thinks he hasn't done the business, I mean, just look at his highlights, his assists, his link play. I like the second goal against Man United even more than the first. The way he just lifted it over from an angle, because it was a really tight angle, wasn't it?
Brilliant, yeah.
You said before, Frank. I mean, I'm at the risk of repeating myself yet again. Gravenberch was in good form when he got nailed. He was just finding his form, and I think he'd been given specific orders from Klopp and Pep to be more of a team player and not try and take players on as much, which I like. I like it when Gravenberch, once he turns and gets going, Gravenberch, it's hard to stop the man. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, the jury's out on Ryan, but the jury is out on Cody for me. No way.
Okay, but did you see the goal? I meant to mention the goal that Cody scored against Fulham. It was a cracking goal, and he wasn't in the middle of the goal. He had to like bend. The ball came to him against Fulham, if you remember, in front of the Kop, and he just like whizzed it in. He just whizzed it in. I think it was Robertson who put it over to him, and he just. I think it was. I'm not quite so sure, but the way he whizzed it in was absolutely brilliant, and that's the potential that lad has. That's the potential. But to me, you know, the potential is overshadowed by inconsistency, and that's the way I feel. You know, about the. As I said, I felt sorry for him the other night. What about you, JK?
Yeah, I think see all these guys who've come in and done a job. I think Kelleher probably wants to be a number one somewhere. He won't be at Liverpool, but what he's done for us in these last few games, kept a clean sheet in the last 3 or 4, is it? And he did that save against Forest today. He did a save where the guy was through, and he saved us there. So I was moaning about him a few weeks ago where I said he let too many goals in where the ball's sort of close to him. He's let it go through or something like this. And ever since then, the guy hasn't done it. So, you know, thing is, when he wants to move, how much will we get for him, you know? For a number 2, for me, he's perfect. The way he's been playing in the last few games, you couldn't ask for a better number 2.
Jay, would you rather be number 2 at a successful club and play a load of games like he currently is, or would you rather be number 1 at a rubbishy club, never get anywhere near a trophy like Man United? There's one.
Okay, you know what? I was thinking the exact same thing today, Lee. Does this guy really need to move? Like, when you really think about it, he's playing big games. You know, he's definitely playing the League Cup every season. So he's playing in the final there. He's getting a lot of game time, actually. So, but if Alisson was fit, he wouldn't get that game time. So you got to look at it in that way. I understand what you mean, though. For me personally, if I was Kelleher, I'd stay at Liverpool. 100%.
Well, what do you think of this? I'll go straight to you, Brian. I think this is a very good comment. And it's off Realism Jared. He says, Robbo and Dan's being heavy-handed is needed in games. Teams think it's okay to bully, and we will take it. This shows teams watch out. We will get ours in. Do you think that they are being? Do you think Jans will be? You know, I don't think Robertson will be bullied, to be honest. But he can bully back. But do you think Dan's, you know, because he's making a little name for himself now, do you think he can be bullied? And who's there to look after him?
Well, look, there's nothing you like seeing more than when one of our players is getting some stick and all the rest of the lads just come piling in. I'm not one for making mountains out of molehills. You know, it's players on Liverpool. I don't ever remember us being a soft team. I don't remember us ever being an easy target. I don't remember us ever getting bullied. I don't think we've ever had a weak spine or a weak team. So it's not something that I've been, this is something to check off the list now. Just, Virgil, Robbo, I don't see. These boys get pushed around. You know, it's not a problem that I was aware of. So, but Dan's, it's like, yeah, you got to have control. Like, you see Darwin today, like he goes over and he scores. The first thing, he boots the advertising horde. You know, it's controlled aggression. You know, you need controlled aggression. Like it Dan's, I like what they were saying earlier on. He's just trying to push the guy in. So it's always good to show for, I think, specifically a young player coming on. I think it's more about that. When a young kid comes on and goes, don't even try it with me because it's not going to work.
Mm.
Well, there you go. I like this little comment here. And it's tough say. Bargain of the summer, McAllister, 35 million. They pulled Brighton's pants down and smacked the body on this deal. It's amazing what people, what us fans think of what we think of this lad, McAllister.
Well, we could have had him. We could have had him on a free. I know. I mean, that's technically, but he was on a free that summer. He did Brighton basically a gentleman favor by signing a new deal. So we didn't really pull their pants down because he was going to go for nothing, and they were clever enough and good enough to get him to sign a new deal and then let him go for 35 million quid that they wouldn't have gotten.
They did the same for Caicedo too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
No,
I'm just adding to your point. That's all. I'm not
saying I just say good business, Brighton. You know, I don't see him. Yeah, I think their pants are still firmly up.
Well, yeah, there's a good comments. I'll stay with you where you are there, Brian. And it's about Gakpo. And Keep It Real says Gakpo needs a rest. He's played a lot of football the last couple of games in a short space of time. And I think he's spot on there. But we've got no one because there's no one there because of our injuries. And this is why the lad is playing all the time. Because I think he would have been rested. Not saying dropped or anything, but rested. But we can't afford to rest him simply because there's no one there to take his place unless Mo comes back. And then you've got Diaz. Even Elliott, on the right. But if you know what I mean. We've got Nunes back. We'll have Mo back next week or this week sometime, in the new week, I'm sorry. Against Prague. I think he'll make his little debut against Prague and ready for the Manchester City game. So you'll have our three strikers in force, Diaz, Nunes and Mo. I think that'll be it. And Gakpo, we'll have our midfielders back as well. We'll have Enzo back. We'll have McAllister back and Szoboszlai. We won't have Curtis Jones yet. But I think we're going to have a very strong team put out against City, to be honest. So what do you think of that? What do you think?
Yeah, he's definitely got, you're right. He's been pushed in, but they all have. They've all been asked to play pretty much every 3 games or every 3 days. Yeah. Bradley playing again today. And it's showing up, man. Like we've spoken to about him, a lot tonight, and I think we've covered all the bases on him. I think basically what we're saying is he can do a lot better, but recently he hasn't been fantastic, but he's also chipping in with a few goals. Just in terms of the selling him stuff that earlier on, all I was really kind of talking about was that there's always player turnover. If a manager wants to bring in new players, some players will always have to leave. Also, a new manager comes into a club, also always wants to get rid of a couple and bring in a couple that he's happy with and comfortable with. And I was just saying, of the squad that I look at, I think that Gravenberch and Gakpo would be 2 of the players that might be the most kind of at risk when it came to that. Not saying that they should be sold and that a new manager will sell. But with Gakpo, yeah, I think we can all see he's not at his best. So whether it's a break he needs, like you said, Frank, we've got 1, 2, 3 guys at least coming back, so he'll hopefully get that chance soon enough.
Okay, well, I'm going to read out 3 things about Gakpo. 3 comments. Keep it real. All right, look, Drunk Vigo says Gakpo deserves all the criticism he is getting right now. Okay, just let me read these out.
That's fair.
Right. And Keep It Real says, we have seen Gakpo put in good performances.
Yeah.
And Soulboy says, if we lose Gakpo from the squad, I'm afraid we are weaker. And Tafsir says, I blame Klopp for Gakpo. The only place he has not played for us is the goalkeeper position. And that's over to you. 12th, what do you think of those comments?
Yeah, I think a lot of those comments are spot on. Brian and I, even JK, have spoken pretty much at length about how Cody really hasn't gotten a clear run at one position. Brian's asked me a couple of times where exactly do I see his best position, and that's a good question, because you know what, I really haven't had that great of a standard sample size to say, okay, yes, I see this is the position that he needs to play in, or this is the position he needs to play in. He's always been filling in at some role, whether it's in the midfield, whether it's on the wings, whether it's at striker. There's been a lot of different positions that he's had to actually take on. And I mean like left mid, left wing, right wing, striker. That's 5 different positions I just named, and he's played them all. So it is a little bit of a difficult mindset to kind of get into. Okay, you want me to turn into the killer striker? Okay, let me get a couple runs and what we can possibly bring that out. I also just wanted to add a little comment about the question about whether we see teams trying to bully us, I guess you could say. And I agree with that comment completely. I like the fact that we are fighting back a little bit more. I like the fact that, whether it's Gomez or whether it's obviously Ibu coming in, playing like, the protector, whether it's young Bradley standing up, for himself, and no matter if he's going against, veteran captains from other teams. I like the fact that we are sticking up. And I think that a lot of times you see teams resort to bullying because they understand the fact that that's the only way to possibly get us off our game. Most teams can't go toe to toe with us. So therefore the next natural progression is to, do the dark arts, give them, the jabs, or play dirty at times and such, just to get under their skin and take them off their game. And fortunately, we, I forget the name of the award. I know Brian probably could back me up on it, but the award, we've won this award for sportsmanship, team sportsmanship, and I think it's been a couple years in a row now, and there's a reason for it. We just normally don't resort to those tactics that other teams try to perform on us. And that's why I think that it's good to see that we are stepping up and not allowing for people to take our kindness for weakness.
Okay, well, I'm just going to read 2 more out because it's all got to do with something here. And Realism, Jared said, guys, also, we don't know what may be going on personally with players. So why they are playing not to the levels. Okay, that's what he says, part of it. We support them, but criticize when deserved. Okay, so that's what realism. This is all that we're doing. We're criticizing, and we've got the right to criticize. Anfield Road, he is 6'4", literally no aggression. He got manhandled today. That's not good enough. Dan showed again aggression and ability in a 5-minute cameo. He actually concussed the goalie, didn't he, Dan? And awesome. This is what it's all about. And he showed them how to. He missed a couple of chances the other night against Southampton. And young Dan's came on, scored 2, and to me, he showed them how to score, if you know what I mean. But I still feel sorry for him because I seen his face. And okay, then right over to you, Lee, after this one. Grav just got here. Young player in a new system needs time. Now, boom, boom. We said before, how long does it take to get in? He's been here since a year last January. So, it's a long time that he's been here. You get other players who just fit in like a glove. You get the likes of Bosley when he first came, bang, great. McAllister, bang, whoa, great. Endo, bang, whoa, great.
It's a summer transfer.
Go on, 12.
No, I was just saying, Gravenberch is a summer transfer. He's not a January transfer, but
no, I didn't mean that.
Okay. I was just going off this
I'm
statement.
just talking about the Gakpo. How long?
Cody, absolutely.
Because what I said, 12. Just in case people take you up on that. What I supposed to have said. I said with the how long does it take for anyone to settle in? Because we brought in Szoboszlai in the summer, obviously. We all know McAllister, Endo, they all just fitted in perfectly.
Can I ask a question back to you then, Frank? And this is for the chat too then. Could we, I don't want to say spoiled, because I know that word can trigger people. But it's not often that we see players adjust. And it's the reason why Klopp normally implements players slowly into the system. He doesn't necessarily, like, the only real players that we saw immediately start was Virgil or Alisson. Other than that, you rarely saw Klopp really go that line of bringing in players and immediately starting them. And I think when we saw Diaz, for instance, Diaz was such a phenomenal sensation for us when he came to the team. I think a lot of people have gotten onto this mindset that everyone should just come into this team and just hit the ground running. But I'm just asking, and this is just a question, open question: is that a fair mindset, or is it or am I overstating that? I guess.
No, you're not overstating. Go on there, Lee. Go on.
Gravenberch wasn't here for the pre-season, and a pre-season can help a player settle, not just tactically and that, but also just settle in a bit more. And I think Gakpo's a bit tired because we've had to use him so much lately. I think there's a bit of tiredness in Gakpo's game yesterday, mate. And we haven't had anybody else to play. He's been playing all the games, all the minutes, mate. So, Gakpo does need rest. I'd rest him for the next game. I'd do Diaz, Nunes, and if Salah's fit, Salah. If not, Elliott. I'd give Cody. When I say rest him, he'd be on the bench. He'd be coming off the bench. He'd be playing, but he wouldn't be starting because I feel there's a bit of tiredness in Cody's legs at the moment.
I think that's a good shout, that, actually, to be honest, because as you said, with Gravenberch, for example, he didn't get a game for Bayern at all during last season. I think he had 3 games at the most and was substituted, or he came on as sub or whatever. But he still didn't have the game time, and he had no pre-season whatsoever with us. So you've got to give him that benefit of the doubt. He's getting up to match fitness, and I've said that all along. But my main point, which was unfortunate when he got injured against Chelsea because he was playing well. But my main point is that I said at the beginning of the season, after the first couple of games, I said, we're only gelling, and it won't be until next season that we'll see the best of Liverpool. But, we're gelling that much that, I think it's solidifying, if you know what I mean. We're that good. We are that good. And next season, whatever we do this season, I think we'll be a lot better next season. And I think we overreact by saying, we need new players or bring in new players, which we should, by the way, which we should. But we've got now a midfield, we've got a DM, unless they sell Enzo, if you know what I mean. I know it sounds premature, but you never know, because whoever the new manager is might see his DM as a far better option than Enzo's DM, if you know what I mean. So we just don't know until next season. But nevertheless, this team that we've got now, this group of players, including the academy players, are fantastic, and we can only get better. What do you think of that, Brian? Has he gone?
No, I think he's there. I think he might be on mute.
Oh, right, okay. If you're there, Brian,
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes, there he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, Klopp said it the other week or the other day when people were talking about dancing, that he said, remember this, when the transfer window opens, remember this, don't be asking for 12 new players, remember these boys.
Oh, yes.
So he was putting it out there saying, like you were saying, Frank, you always need 2 or 3. You need to do it as far as I'm concerned. 2 or 3. It doesn't have to be started.
All the time.
Just turn it over. The Gravenberch thing is like, it gets overlooked a little bit. Like sort of what I was saying is, a new manager, I said, could come in and say, Gravenberch is the kind of player I want to build my midfielder. Or a new manager could come in and go, no, I'm not a Gravenberch guy. I want someone else, like you said with the Endo thing. And there's a difference between a new manager coming in and not liking a player and that guy being a bad player. Like you said, it's all about profiles, styles, things like that. And the fact that Gravenberch was very much a Klopp project. He chased him for a year and a half. So we do have guys in there and we do have a lot of good players, but there will all, like every manager, I think, will always have, 1 or 2 of his own ideas that won't quite chime with something that maybe we have going on. He won't be massively disruptive because he'll work with the sporting director. But there'll always be 1 or 2. And the player, and you look at it on social media, and I don't like to do that, but you look at it and the fans are saying, you look at the kind of the tweet, Alonso, he'll bring Wirtz with him. He'll bring Frimpong with him. He'll bring such and such a player with him. So fans always kind of, when that happens, they always look at who's done well and think, he's gonna bring that guy. He's gonna bring that guy. So they already have it in their heads that the new players will come in. So a manager will always have, I think, 1 or 2 strong ideas, and I think that's where you'll see changes. And like you say, you just never know. You really never know in football. You just don't. Like, you could be sitting there 2 days before the window is about to close, and like I say, Endo has joined Fiorentina for £20 million, or I don't know, Robertson has joined AC Milan for 50 million. Anything can just happen, and I'm expecting. That's why it's exciting. That's why it's fun.
Fun? Did you have fun today? Oh, blimey, I don't want any more aneurysms. I always remember a few years back, an old neighbour of mine, I had a spare ticket, and I said, come on, George, I said, I'm taking you to the game. And he went, I don't think me heart to take it, But anyway, he came with me, and he took a couple of tablets, whatever they were, to keep him going. He said, never again, you've got their tickets, bring someone else. But, it's just fun anyway. So I just want to, I've seen a quote before. I don't know where the bloody hell it is. A comment. Oh, please, boys. Hang on. God, blimey, where are we? Where are we? I'm sorry about this, lads. Yeah, look, I'm feeling raw. Now, if we want players, would you bring in this fella? I'll go to you, JK. Would you bring in that Neto from Wolves?
100%.
100%.
The guy, what a player! I think assist-wise, he's up there this season. Actually, they got battered today, Wolves. But when you look at him as a player, if he can do that in a Wolves team, that many assists, him in a Liverpool team is a different story. So I'll be all after. The only problem, as everyone always says about him, is his injury record and stuff. But hopefully, the one good thing about when Klopp leaves is that he will take the medical team with him and the fitness guys or whoever, and maybe we'll have a bit of luck next season with our injuries and stuff like that. So, but for me, Neto, 100%.
Okay. Now, I'm going to go to you, Brian, then to you, 12th. I'm finished with you on this. I'll have to make myself a cup of tea because my throat is really gone. Is that okay? So, over to you anyway about, who would you like to say? We do have to bring someone in. We have to. We can't be complacent like we were last season by bringing no one in, if you know what I mean. Then we ended up bringing Gakpo in, didn't we? Do you remember that, Artemello?
Oh, yeah.
Remember him, please remember him. So we can't become complacent. We cannot. I wanted two midfielders 2 years ago. 2 years ago. So that was the season before last. I wanted two mids. Never got them. And well, anyway, but that's history now. So would you like to take Neto? And also, I'll go to you, Brian. And also, who would you like to see come in? Then to you, 12. Then to you, Lee. And finally with you, JK. Is that okay? Just name your players you'd like to see come in.
Well, the first one with Neto, it's only that couple of bad injuries that's will put you off. But in terms of ability, he's absolutely top class. I think he'll go somewhere. If he got a bad one again there, if he hadn't got that bad one last season, I reckon he had a bigger club. I think he is a special player. I think he's the kind of player that people love watching. People love seeing a player that takes someone on and can beat them, dribble past them. And so, he's setting up, like he's turned Hwang Chan into one of the best strikers in the Premier League.
Yeah.
He was playing with this kid Cunha, the Brazilian lad up front. They've got a really quietly a good little front three going on there. So I'd like to, I'm not going to say I watched them all the time, but he tore us a new one for about 25 minutes when we played them, early in the season. He was on the left that day for a while and he was just making mincemeat out of us because obviously they knew that the gaps were on our right, so they just put him over there and he was just creating chance after chance. After him, I have to be consistent, and I've been talking about him all year, is Jadon Philogene at Hull, who they bought from Aston Villa, who is Aston Villa have a buyback on him, so it might not be easy to get him, but he is unreal. He is just pure class. He's just old-fashioned flair, dribbling, technique. Watch his goal from 2 weeks ago. Close control in the box, beats 3 players in the box, cuts back, and Rabonas it past the keeper into the bottom corner. It's all in the space of about 3 seconds. Every touch is perfect. The guy is he's ridiculous. He's going to be at a big club pretty soon. Villa might take him back and then sell him on, but he's unreal. He's one of the best players in the Championship, and I know it's the Championship, but there's some ballers in the Championship, and he's right up there. After that, for me, then, if you're going down the Thingy connection, I don't know who we're booting out of the team, but I'd love to see us bring in Florian Wirtz at Liverpool.
Oh, yeah.
So those 3 guys, Neto, yes, thumbs up on Neto, but I'd love to see us, because Philogene plays on the right, so basically what I'm talking about there is potential Salah replacement in a year's time. So Philogene and Florian Wirtz.
So if we were taking on Neto, I would certainly, I mentioned this in the chat too. I said I would certainly be high and on the praise that he has, high on the praise of his performances that he's had against us, high on the praise of what we've seen from him, whether it's like his creativity, assist making ability, as Brian's mentioned, his ability on the ball to dribble, to go past people. If he hadn't gotten the injury, yes, I wouldn't even hesitate. But considering that he has gotten the injuries, and because as we've seen with like our Diego, it's not always all about like some of the injuries aren't necessarily injuries that are non-contact, but still the same. These injuries are just that, injuries that make you somewhat pause to think about taking on a player like Neto for what the Wolves probably would ask for in return, in the sense of like price tag.
Can I just bounce into one thing, because I forgot to say this?
Yeah.
Romano put out a video about 2 weeks ago, and this is on Neto. He said there's no club, but he is 100% being sold this summer. Mm-hmm. He is leaving this summer. So that is, when we're talking about him, we compare that.
Did he include price tag?
He didn't say money, but he said, look, Wolves are selling him. Right. He's leaving. So it's not so when you're talking about him, it's not pie in the sky stuff. He's going somewhere in the summer. So it is a proper evaluation. Like,
I feel Pedro Neto will be a great replacement for Mo Salah, but obviously it's his injury record we're going to have to look at because of Thiago. I mean, he's injured all the time, Neto, but he would be a quality replacement for Mo, and I don't think he'd cost the earth from Wolves.
50, 60 kind of thing, 60 million.
Is that how much he wants?
I reckon it'd be around that, Lee. I'm just, they're selling,
Yeah.
They'll tie him up to a nice long deal, and then they'll get their money for him. But if he stays fit and he starts banging them in like he has, surely he's got to be. In this day and age, when players go for the kind of money they do.
If I'm honest,
what about that lad from, I can't pronounce his name, from Napoli, the right winger?
Carlyle.
Yeah, KK.
Yeah, as well. What do you think about him?
Easiest way to go about it.
What do you think about him?
Great player.
Me, he's a top player. He's a top player, but does he play the left? He plays more left, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is, in the last few days, I've heard about Diaz going to leave in the summer. A lot of articles, but I don't really like reading articles because sometimes they're just not really true. But the Diaz in the last few days has been like, he's going to leave in the summer. So at the end of the day, we haven't even got a manager yet.
Yeah,
players. Yeah, so I'd rather
I like Diaz.
A manager.
I like Diaz. I really like him. People are slagging him off for no reason whatsoever. Because to me, he gets the ball and he goes direct.
Yeah.
He goes towards their defences. Does Diaz, and he gets some stick off some fans, I'll sell him. He's not worth it. Shut off, he's not worth it. I think he's good.
I think a month ago, about a month or so ago, after everything what's happened to him in this season and stuff, a lot of people were moaning. I think in the last month alone, he has stepped up a few gears. He's been the main guy in this injury crisis we've had, him and Gakpo. Gakpo hasn't really done nothing in the last few games, but Diaz constant threat in them games. I think sometimes people don't realize. I think if Diaz got an assist every game or a goal, people wouldn't be moaning. But I think sometimes you've got to understand football is a game of chess. And what Diaz actually does, he upsets, like Darwin, he upsets the opposition and their flow. And sometimes you just need a guy who's a runner. And he's one of them attackers, he's a runner. And I think that's his best job. But I think what he lacks in his game is crossing the ball. Because he always likes to cut in, because he's right-footed, he cuts in. So it's hard for him to actually cross the ball with his left foot. So he's actually played on the right a few games, hasn't he, this season as well? And he against Arsenal in the cup, FA Cup, he scored that goal. That was like him on the right-hand side. So,
Yeah. Okay. John says the midnight talk. I'll go straight to you, Brian. Always looking for someone to kick a lot of fans. Sometimes be rare. The whole squad is on it every game. Is the whole squad on it every game? And as I said about K-Mac, you know, it's the first time I ever heard mentality monsters. And he said it, but he admitted, he said, I got that from someone else as well. So have we got this type of mentality monsters, Brian? In every game, by the way, every game.
It looks like they're having to be. They don't have much up when you're having to come back at half time, 1-0 down, or you're having to come back to win games in the 98th minute. You're having to win games, you're having to win cup finals. You don't have much choice. So it's seeping in. You can see Klopp's enjoying it. But these things, they kind of they bleed into themselves. You know, you do it the second time because you did it the first time. If you've done it twice, you think, well, I can do it 3 times. And it becomes exponential then. So the more you do these things, the more you can feed off the previous success, which is what Klopp, I think, really taps into, is to be able to, we've done it before, look, you know, just turn it into a bit of a tidal wave. But we've got to, we're going to need some calmer moments. I'm going to keep saying this. We're going to need some calmer moments. They can't all be cup finals from now at the end of the season, because cup finals take it out of you. So we're going to need some calmer moments. Today was great, but like I said, just the next time, the next time is bloody Man City, isn't it? So it's going to be another one for Man City. So even the Prague game, maybe. No, in the league, but the league game is City. So it's going to be a while, maybe. Yeah, hopefully Prague can be a nice game, but it's going, and then we've got United coming up. So look, all of these boys are going to have to be keeping their emotions in check and putting the energy and all that stuff into the right place, because burnout could happen pretty quick. We've spoken already that Gakpo just looks knackered, and there's a reason for that, because you said it, Frank. He's having to play.
He's having to play because there's no one there. And I was watching. I tell you who else is going to be a very, very hard game. And this is like a forgotten game, to be honest. We were talking about Notts Forest only, the other night, on Thursday night on the podcast. And next week now it's Manchester City, and we're all worrying what Arsenal are doing as well. Point is, this game has been forgotten, and it's going to be, I think, more difficult than the Man City game. I think we'll beat Man City, by the way. I just think, because I know that we'll have a more or less, with the exception of Jota and Ali, unfortunately, a full team going at them next week.
Looks like it.
Next weekend. Now, do you know the game I'm talking about is Everton? Now, Everton got stuffed today at home at Goodison.
Yeah.
And I really believe that will be a very tough game, because they're fighting again for their lives at Goodison as well. So they'll be giving us a very, very difficult time. And if we come through the likes of Manchester City and Everton, I think we'll win that league without a shadow. What do you think? 12?
I think you're spot on with that. I think the best thing, though, for us was, performing well in that FA Cup game to get the win, and now making that Everton matchup be postponed. Now it's being pushed back later in the schedule. So we'll have.
I forgot about that. Sorry, I forgot about that. I'm sorry there. Go on.
So by that happening, it's going to actually give us obviously a little bit more time to get some of those key members back into the fold to be able to take on Everton, which I agree. That's going to, those rivalry games, you just, you basically throw form out the window. You just have to go into it thinking like it's going to be a hard fought game. Lots going to be on the line for each of the teams, regardless of where they stand in the table. So I definitely agree with you that the Everton game is going to be a very tight, difficult matchup. And also, I like the fact that we do have the Europa Cup match coming up. I personally would like to see us go into that matchup with a assurance or to put a marker down to say that we could possibly utilize a resting period going forward, considering we have an international break in between before we have to face City. So I would like to see us, be able to win 3-4, something, demanding and commanding, to think that we could hold our own by really rotating and keeping our team fresh for when we have to face them again. And let's keep in mind, my last point here is keep in mind that we do have tomorrow's matchup. Sunday and Monday are still, games that I saw people in the chat speaking about games they're watching, the Villa game and such, in the Spurs match. If anything, tomorrow and Monday, with City facing off, City having a game and Arsenal having a game. Now, albeit it's not exactly the biggest foes, but Manchester United again is facing Manchester City in what could possibly be something of a, that game that, because United plays well against City. No matter where they are in the league, they play well against City because of the rivalry game, which we just spoke about Everton. So we could all hope that, United could throw us a bone.
I don't want that bone from them, bro.
I'll take that. I'll take it. If it means beating the City, I'll take it.
Well, I'll go to you on that, to be honest, JK. So what do you think about what the 12th has said?
I think derby games, like as you were saying, Frank, Everton got battered today 3-1 at home to West Ham, and West Ham got battered the other day 6-0, was it, or something?
5-1.
5-1 or something like that. No, I think Arsenal beat them 6-0, didn't they?
Yeah, Arsenal beat them 2-0. It was Arsenal beat Newcastle 5-1. They smacked everybody up, and West Ham got at least 5 or 6 put past them. But
so Everton, when is that derby exactly?
It's at the end, isn't it? I think a few things will be. Sorted out by then. Everton could be going down. We don't know, or still fighting relegation by the time we play them. We could be fighting for the league at the time, unless the likes of. It'll be worse as well if Everton's relegated and we're fighting for the league with Manchester City. They'll all be relaxed. Not only that, I'm talking about Everton here, I'm being hypothetical. And they'll all be relaxed. And one thing that they want to do is to get one over on us, to try and stop us winning the league, because they're going down.
So with that sort of, with that mentality there, I don't feel sorry for them if they go down. If you really look at it, if you ask an Everton fan, who do you want to win the league? City, Arsenal, or Liverpool? I think there'd be one or two who would say Liverpool. I believe that. I think there's one or two Evertonians who would say, yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't know one Everton. I live in the city.
Yeah.
I know these people.
The guy who does the drone, he would.
Any Everton.
The guy who does the drone.
Not one. And I know loads of them.
Who would they say, Frank? Who would they say? If you forced them to pick someone, who would they say?
I think they'd say City, to be honest.
Right.
Because do you know what it's like? I'll go back to Manchester United, right? And when they won a couple of a couple of Champions Leagues, didn't they? And they went, they're catching up on you, right? They're catching up on you. That's what they were saying. And when they actually look, I never go to pubs anymore to watch Liverpool ever, because I remember being in some pub, and we were playing. I forget, it was a champion. I'll tell you who it was. Oh, who was it? It was Chelsea. You remember the 4-4 game? But we went out. The 4-4 game of the Champions League, when we drew down there. Fernando Torres scores in the first, we were back in it. Anyway, it ended up 4-4. You should have seen these Evertonians. And they were made up. But that's not only happened, once or twice. It's happened loads of times with these lads, these fellas. I remember our kid. It was in '95 when we played Man United. I was down there, and he said he couldn't go. You know what I mean? So he went into his local pub. All the Liverpool lads, and for the game on the telly, and in walks a loads of lads, Evertonians, United, and when they scored, beat us 1-0. He said you should have seen the commotions out of them. You should have seen it. He was murder, by the way. He was murdered in the pub. So me was an Evertonian. Will they give it to Liverpool? No, not a chance. I've experienced it. I live here in the city. You're either blue or you're red, and that's the end of it. And that's the way this city is. And there's no give or take. None whatsoever. That's my take on it.
They are going to kick lumps out of us, aren't they, Everton, in the derby? You just know it. I'm listening. Just because I'm there, like, making the brew, doesn't mean I can't hear you, mate. Yeah.
So what's your okay, let's get on to this. And I'm going to go to our 12th man and put him on the spot for the first instead of Brian. And it's only this comment here. I'm not ready to give up on Gakpo. Fans last season were saying the same about Darwin and Curtis Jones. And he's spot on there, by the way. And look how they turned us around. Go ahead there, 12.
So, yes, to Paul Turner's comment right there.
Yeah, Paul Turner.
Fans last season were saying the same about Darwin and Curtis Jones, and look how they've turned it around. Yeah, I definitely understand exactly what he's saying, in that a lot of fans have certainly counted players out before they got at least to a knee, if not standing again. And a lot of times, we can go practically down the entire list of players on this team. I've heard shouts for Salah to be sold. I've heard shouts for Diego to be sold. I've heard shouts for Curtis Jones to be sold, or at least go out on loan, if not sold. I've heard Virgil van Dijk was done. We need to move on from him. I've heard I heard Darwin was a waste of money. There's all these different talks and such, but I can reference back to what we heard about what Virgil said. It's like when he sat in that locker room, said, they thought I was finished. They thought I was done, and yet he's returned back to the prominence now, where he's. I remember people are saying that he's lost that aura. You know how people reference Virgil van Dijk having that aura about him, that players wouldn't even want to go near him on the pitch. He's gotten that back, for instance, and that's because not only has he gotten that back with his confidence, but the team, it's started to, sometimes that kind of aura can rub off on players, on your teammates, and they can give them confidence, the sheer fact knowing that, you can go forward because this player's got your back, or you know that if you're on the break and you're pressing forward and you're going to get, possibly put out, Kelleher is going to come out and make a big save, or I don't know, Joe Gomez or Ibu is going to track back and make a play. Again, another player that people were calling up had the bozo gene earlier this year, but yet now everyone's praising him some are praising him as if he's one of the best center backs in the league, if not having a year somewhat similar to a Virgil van Dijk. I think that anything where I would land with my point is, I just want to say it's not necessarily that I have belief in these players, but utmost I have hope in these players as well. And knowing our track record with our performances, knowing our track record with some of these players up and downs, I also say that I'm sooner to bet on them returning to form rather than staying and declining to a point where we can't utilize their services. So that's the point where I would like to say.
Okay. Look, he's gone again. He's going to him.
He can hear us.
He's making a brew.
It's no use here, and you've got to be sitting there. Anyway, I'll go to you, JK, on what the 12th has just said.
Okay, yeah.
I reckon for some reason today when Darwin scored that goal, what was the first thing that came into my mind? It was that guy's got stick for more than a year. And them same people would be cheering right now. For some reason that came into my thought process as soon as Darwin got that goal. Sometimes in life, players have off-field problems, culture shocks. Guys from South America lived in Portugal, then moved to cold Liverpool. It must have hit him as well, you know. I think sometimes humans go a bit over the top with their moaning and stuff. Darwin knows himself he needs to score goals. We don't need to tell him that. Yeah, you can drop it in. You can say it once, yeah, guy needs to step up. But if you do it on a constant, it's because of the positive fans like me, 12th man, you, Frank, Brian, that we actually win these games. Without us, bro, we won't win these games.
Yeah, no.
Positivity wins.
It's only what the 12th said there before. Only the other day. Now, last season, remember, get rid of Verge, get rid of Mo. And these were coming out last season. Now, you might think that everything could calm down, especially with Mo. But only the other day on a pod, let's sell Salah. And it came out with he's injury prone. Do you know
that came back?
This monitor up here was to my left ear. I let him over the edge with it. And I'm not a violent person. But coming out and saying that, let's get rid of Mo.
Just kidding.
He's only and not just Mo, by the way. Have I guess you? Jota, he's injury prone. How many times has he been injured this season? Are you saying? Get rid of him. We need, and these where's he gonna get? And this is the way it is with some of our fan base. Absolutely ridiculous. What do you think there, Brian?
Well,
do you get rid of any of them I've just mentioned? Including Did you ever say, be honest, let's get rid of Salah, let's get rid of the Verge, and let's get rid of this Jota fella because he's injury prone?
I never said let's get rid of Jota because he's injury prone, but about 2 years ago, when Jota was in the middle of that year-long spell without scoring a goal, I definitely said if someone came in and gave us 40 million for Jota, I'd take it, because you could buy a better replacement. He's come good, 2 years later, whatever. But at the time, I was like, look, this guy isn't doing the business right now. Someone comes in. But yeah, the Salah, sell Virgil, sell Ali, sell all that kind of stuff. No, that's CBB's channel. That's the YouTube channels with funny thumbnails.
CBB's.
That's
my constructive criticism, Brian, of our players from our fans. But when they're just on a player for no reason, I'm like, why? He plays for us. Get off his back.
Yeah. But Lee, I've always said about, and look, it's one of the oldest cliches in the book, and Frank, you know this one, and cliches are cliches for a reason. Football is a game of opinion, and I'll never take away anybody's right to just say, nah, I just don't like the player. That's fine. But when it comes with kind of made up facts and silly statements and nonsense, like saying Salah is injury prone, probably the least injury prone player we've had in the last 15 years. The guy is just rock solid, never gets injured. So when but if you don't like a player, you just say, hey, look, I get that he's for you, but he's just not for me. That's cool, because that's football.
Mhm.
You'll never have everyone on the same page in football, because it isn't binary. It isn't a maths question. It's not 2 + 2 = 4. It's just, nah, I like him. Nah, I don't really like him. That's all. You're all going to have that. But yeah, the unnecessary over the top, like you think, just the kind of madness, stupid things, just to prove a point. And I think a lot of these guys, it's like, okay, I can't hate this guy because he's doing the business. Right, let's look around the squad. Who can I hate? Who can I pick on? Because there has to be someone. Because there always has to be someone to be kind of having a go at.
Pick on Thiago, that's what he's
Cody
there.
there. Carry on.
We're not getting any football out of Thiago, so we might as well slag him off, mightn't we?
Frank's on the bat.
Well, yeah. Well, Lee, I know that. Big up to Tracy Neville for making your plate of food, Lee. I see that she.
I know it. Well, I could hardly concentrate on the match today because I'm in love with Tracy Neville. She won't return me calls, nothing. I think if I had more status in life, I could win her heart. But what's she going to see in a guy like me, 12?
The glasses work, bro. The glasses work.
The glasses work today. That's what I said.
They work, bro.
Academic. Yeah.
Lee, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Did you just get Meals on Wheels?
No, it's
You got that assisted living going on there, yeah?
I think that if you want to look older, he puts the glasses on. You know,
exactly. He puts the glasses on. He claims to be 65. He gets the Meals on Wheels. JK knows what I'm talking about.
Classic.
That's spot on. That's funny.
What is that, bro? Is it Indian?
It's like pasta.
I don't know. You gotta ask Tracy. It's a Neville secret. It's a Neville.
Oh yeah, hidden source. No one knows. No one knows.
Exactly. It's a Neville family secret recipe.
There's a few Neville family secrets, I'd say.
Oh god.
Yeah, there's another Scousser, and he says, no chance Evertonians want us to win anything. The fans are so toxic towards us. And, you know, believe me, I've just had a mate on the phone. He said, how are you, you know? And he's just got back from Forest. He says, you're coming out for a bit? I said, no, he's had a few bevies. And I said, I can't. I said, I'm doing a pod now. And I said, you know, there's no way I can go out tonight anyway. So he says, all right. He said, them horrible, the expletives that came out about the Forest fans. He said they were horrible. Even like when we were coming out the ground, they kept us back, you know. We were coming out the grounds, and he said they were horrible.
We can be even nastier than in return, can't we? If we felt like it, but I can't be bothered. I wouldn't turn up on a stream, say for Forest, and say your team is rubbish or anything like, because it's a waste of my time. I've got better things to do.
Yeah, you could be eating a big box of microwave sweet corn.
And what happened at the end of the game? They started some songs, didn't they? The last 10 minutes.
Yeah.
One after the other.
I
said, you know what? I said, we're going to get a goal here. As soon as any opposition start singing them songs against us, we always win.
They started singing the national anthem on around 70 minutes, and then they followed it up with the usual, you know, the usual Liverpool shite. Let's just leave it at that. Yeah. But they kicked off with the national anthem for no reason, that just knowing what they're up to. Like I said to you, like, I'm not control it. Like, I've got a really good mate who's a Leicester fan, but Leicester fans are very similar. They've got that
very.
God save the Queen thing going on.
Yeah,
And
East
the
Midlands.
fans, they go very, very quickly to the, say diplomatic, to the poverty chants. Let's just call them that. They go to that shit like 5 minutes in, and you're like, oh, okay, already? Okay, so it's that kind of crowd. Right, fair enough. Fair enough.
What do you know about poverty, Brian? I mean,
Exactly,
they haven't got any points in a while, and you can't get them down the food bank points. You can't fight off relegation by going to the food bank, can you?
Most of these cities that are singing these songs, they have worse problems than Liverpool have. They don't even realize that. They're making it. Yeah, I don't even want to go there. But you know, it's just, it makes it all the sweeter. Like Frank said, it makes it all the sweeter when you beat these teams. Then
you know how the world is, bro. It's stereotype world. You stereotype something, they're gonna stick with it for the rest of their lives.
But we Fergie them. We absolutely Fergie them. Like 98, 99 minutes. That's pure Man United heart, the kind of stuff they used to do to teams. And we used to watch it going, there they go again. Bloody Man United, always winning in the last minute. You know, now, because that breaks teams' hearts. Can you imagine Pep Guardiola looking at that? Mikel Arteta looking at that. Thinking, rubbing his hands, thinking, here we go now. And then Darwin pops up. They're all saying, deleted tweets everywhere. Deleted tweets all over the place.
See, we're known, Brian, as the Republic of Liverpool. You know that, don't you?
Oh yeah, Scouse not English, man. That's why the connection is there. You know, that's why the connection between Ireland and Liverpool is there. It's not a fake connection; it's a real connection. It's not a fake connection at all. It's a genuine thing.
Oh, massive connection, massive, and we've got a great memorial to what happened. With the potato famine. I used to, when I was lecturing, I always gave about the potato famine, what had happened, which was an English thing, by the way. It was an English thing about how many, Anyway, that potato famine, George Bernard Shaw said this quote is unbelievable. How could there be a famine when the country was full of food? Think about that. Think about that. Because it was. Now, the whole potato famine, there's no potatoes. They were exporting potatoes, Ireland, into England. It was the English who owned the land then, because the land was taken off the English. So, we've always had this fantastic camaraderie with migrants coming into Liverpool. And I always remember the Capital of Culture year, 2008. And this lady, I don't know who she was, she put in one of the greatest, they were asking for a sort of a logo sort of thing, And she said that about Liverpool, the world in one city. That's how we embrace everybody. And we embrace, from the very first migrants into Liverpool was 1826, who made a community, and they were the Chinese. And it went on ever since. The Irish, what a community. And you had the Irish there, and right next to it, you had the Italians. So it was unbelievable what kind of city grew from migrants. Fantastic. Different culture, everything. And this is the culture that we have today. Don't forget that the likes of countries, and I'm even talking about Italy, the Italians came over because there was a north and south divide. The north was industrial and very rich. The south suffered from terrible droughts. So they decided to go to America. My family, they came over. Half of them went over to America because this was the gateway to the New World, which was America. And unfortunately, there was a 6-month waiting list for my part of the family. and they stayed, and the rest of them went over, first. So we have all this cultural stuff here in Liverpool, and it solidified us. That's why Liverpool Football, Liverpool Football Club, the supporters of Liverpool Football Club embrace our fan bases that's around the globe. And, you hear people saying, we can't get tickets because of all the corporate and everything. They don't mean it like that. We embrace our fan base, if you know what I mean. And it's a big cultural thing. And someone said that we're like a family, and this is what it is. This is what it is. This is what we are. This is what you are, 12th man. This is what you are, Lee, JK, Brian, and everybody else. And that's why I keep saying to the lads out there, come on here. Give me your details. I'll give them to Jason, and we'll have you on. Just like we have 12 man on, and Brian and Lee and JK and everybody else came back. Even the Jamie Phillips comes on now and again. It's great. I'd like to see you on here. I'd like to, because it's yours. It's not just like me. It's yours. It's come on, express your passion for the club.
I'll tell you a word I like for Liverpool as a city, separating it from football, is cosmopolitan. Now, it's known in the rest of the country, Liverpool's a crap hole, and they're all on the dole, it's a crap hole. But it is a cosmopolitan city, the people are very mixed. And I like it. That's what I like about it. Anyone that doesn't like it.
Sods up. Yeah, sods up.
Frank.
Well, on the music, Frank, it's like the music. Any port cities are, like you've explained there before, are cultural hotbeds. Any port city that that allows people to come from all over the world, that's immediately where they land. And the music that comes from those cities, anywhere around the world, it's a port city. Hamburg in Germany, there's a reason the Beatles went to Hamburg, because Hamburg was the port city. That's where everyone landed. You go to New Orleans. New Orleans it's on it's a port on the Gulf. That's where everyone goes. So it's where all those cultures mix together. And you get 50 years later, you get music and you get culture that you don't get in other places, because that's what I think makes Liverpool special, is that fact that it was the original port city. And there's a reason the Beatles come from Liverpool, not from London.
Do you know what? Last night I went to a venue up in there, a place called Billings, 12-foot notice, like Billings thing. Anyway, that was you, Brian. So anyway, I was brought up there because I can't drive anymore. And I was brought up there. It was chock-a-block of lovely people, And I was given a talk about... Jack the Ripper, the 1888 Ripper.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, I stood there like that, and it was a brilliant introduction, wonderful, this fellow, and he had big stupid face on a screen, behind me. Anyway, I stood there like that, the all applauses, and when thank you, ladies and gentlemen, I said, but listen, I'm sorry about this. I won't be talking about Jack the Ripper tonight, but what I'm going to do instead is give you a lot of Irish sea shanties about Liverpool, and also there's one song that's 40 minutes long, but I'd like you to listen and understand the chorus, and I'd like you all to join in. Is that okay with you? There wasn't anything. There was all silent, but here's what they were looking like. Everybody, they were all like... I'm only kidding, with the light. I'm only kidding. You were all amazing up there. They thought that you were going to get renditions of sea shanties and everything else. It was so funny.
Figuring out how to leave early.
Great.
It's a tough city, but if you can survive here, you can survive anywhere.
Yeah, of course you can. Of course you can. And, you know, when the likes of us here now, as I said, I just had that phone call now off a mate of mine. He's just got back. And you look at all that. I know all lads who go down, you know, they go everywhere. One man, honestly, true, he's missed one match in 42 years. One match. And I'm talking about home and away in Europe as well. They go all over the place, these lads. And he missed a match because he had to go to their kid's wedding. He was the best man.
Have I told you before, right? My stepdad used to follow Liverpool everywhere before he married me mum. And I had a big bin bag full of programmes that he got from everywhere, finals and everything. And when we moved from our masonette to a council house, to an actual house, somebody threw them away on the tip. I think it was my stepnan, our Joan, the one who's related to Gerrard, Joan Gerrard. I think she threw them away because I used to have them in my bedroom. I only had one bit of furniture in my bedroom as a kid. This crummy old wardrobe. I think my granddad made it because we had no money. He made it for me. And it was in the wardrobe. And then when we got to the house, the programmes weren't there. And that's where I got all my stats from. You know, when I was a kid, I knew all the years. We won the league and all this business. And he went.
Can I read something? It was kind of interesting. Something that happened in the game.
Yeah, of course.
I think some people might. I don't know. Some people, everyone saw this or not, or maybe some people did. But I'm just going to read it verbatim. So it says, when the full-time whistle blew, Paul Tierney was surrounded by the Nottingham Forest players and staff, which led to Stephen Reed being shown a red card. However, you can also see clear anger towards our captain because it was thought that after the game was stopped for Ibu Konate's head injury, the Dutchman should have kicked the ball back. Instead, we attacked, won a corner, and scored a late goal that claimed all 3 points. And it was obvious that our number 4 is the man who was blamed for the string of events by those from Nottinghamshire. How do you guys feel about that?
Soap opera.
I love it.
Soap opera.
No, I love it. I love it more than Mason Edwards, 12.
Anyone? What about you, Brian? What do you think about that? You know, surrounds and the referee as usual. And don't forget, it's that Tierney fella. Yeah. He's just horrible towards us, by the way.
The boys are giving out there. Is it like they lost, so now they're giving out?
Well, they're saying that they were cheaters, weren't they? Really?
Jesus.
I don't know. Like, they're saying they were cheated. We got one, they got one. We could have got a pen, they could have got a pen. We didn't get a pen, they didn't get a pen. I don't know. I didn't see anything in that game that I know a lot of people can read a lot of things, and even the people that like to kind of go overboard on refs didn't really have an awful lot to complain about today. It just seemed like the game was equally balanced. Yeah, they fouled, we fouled. Like Robbo smashed into their guy. Robbo or Gomez pulled down one of their guys. I didn't see anything in it. It's just a standard, typical game of football. Well, surrounding referees, is that a new thing now? Did we just invent that? I don't think so.
Yeah, exactly. As Ian Max, hang on, where are we? Okay. As Ian Max sore losers, absolutely.
Yeah.
Their fans are the worst in the world anyway.
They are pretty bad. They really do. You're not wrong, Frank.
He said it. He said he should have heard them outside as well. They were hot. They were waiting for us, he said, because you get kept back, but they were waiting. But, they're picking on the wrong supporters here. These are...
I see that. I see it like this. If Forest scored, there'd be no moaning. After that incident, what happened? So this is football, man. That's what they're going to do after the game. They're going to think, what can we do? And what they're going to get out of it at the end of it when you really, really look at it. They're not going to replay the game, are they? So, yeah, Ibu could have gone down when he had that head injury. But he stayed up. So I can't really see anything wrong with it, actually.
They're desperate. The more desperate and salty their tears are, the more I enjoy it.
Yeah, especially Forest.
Yeah,
Especially
because
Forest. Yeah.
you know, we always used to say about Man United fans, but they're saints compared to that lot. And as Brian said as well, Leicester fans are the same.
Yeah.
Leicester fans. It's
East Midlands, yeah.
That's why I support Italy. You know, I've always supported Italy from a young lad. You know, only because of my granddad and whatever. And anyway, our kid, he supports England. Jared, he says, you've got to support your country you were born in. I said, well, why should I? And I said about, you know, the establishment. I said, can you stand next to a person while a big Union Jack is being waved and singing the national anthem, shouting England, while every ground around the country call us murderers and bin dippers and in your Liverpool slums? And you wanted me to support England with those morons? No way.
Well, now that you're naming the stuff, I didn't want to go, but what they were singing today was after the UK national anthem, they started singing, "You're going back to your shithole. You're going back to your shithole." That's what they were doing immediately after they stopped singing "God Save the Queen." They went straight into that, and I was just like, "Fuck you guys."
You know what makes me laugh is
none of them have seen Liverpool. I've brought high-ranking players around Liverpool. High-ranking persons around. I've taken governmental people, officials around. I brought a load of MPs from Finland around Liverpool. I've brought his king now. I've shown King Charles when he was Prince, St. George's Hall. I gave him everything that he needed to know. I brought all these people around. I brought Gloria Estefan around. I brought Robin Gibb around.
Brilliant.
That's who I brought around Liverpool. And they've said what a beautiful city Liverpool is.
Miami Sound Machine.
And yes, what you've just said there, Brian, this is what they're saying because they've never come to Liverpool. They've never stepped foot in Liverpool.
What you just said, Frank, the only thing I liked about King Charles when he was Prince Charles is that he likes good architecture and he'll pick up on it and go, oh, that's not, because I like buildings myself. I don't know much, you know what I mean? But I do like nice looking architecture and stuff, and we've got a loads of it, like.
Yeah, but when you look at it, the bigger picture is this. It's like these fans who sing these songs, it's like they get a card that gives them 50% off their mortgage, 50% off their electricity bill, 50% off their council tax, because they're special and they're doing it for that reason. That's why they're singing them songs. They don't really understand that they get the same pressure that the people in Liverpool get, for example. Same bills, same mortgage rates, same interest rates, whatever it is, you know. And that's what the world we live in. I think they're a bit delusional, a lot of people.
Yeah. Who is the Forest owner who went after the ref? Who is he? I've forgotten.
He's a Greek fella. He's the Greek fella. He owns Olympiacos. Giannakis, I think it is. But he owns Olympiacos in Greece.
He's got great names.
The ref said.
I follow a couple of Greek journalists, you know, and they're absolutely. I follow them. They're not football or anything like that. These are their political journalists, and I follow them. And they've got some very hard names, Makarios, and Christophorou. You know, these wonderful Greek names. And I have a lad who comes on now and again, Marios Manzos, you know, who's Greek, and he actually had written a book about Bill Shankly, not Bill Shankly, I'm sorry about, what did I say, Bill Shankly, about Jurgen Klopp. Absolutely brilliant, but he compares him to Bill Shankly as well. Klopp, that is, he compares him when Shankly, built the foundations of Liverpool. So, yeah, these fans haven't a clue. They've never been to Liverpool, ever. We've got more, there's something. We've got more Edwardian dwellings, not Edwardian, Georgian dwellings here in Liverpool than Bath has. We've got more listed buildings, listed buildings than the whole of the country, with the exception of London anyway, which is obvious. And these people have never been to Liverpool. And yet I hate that word, S-H-I-T, by the way. I never use that. So they don't know. But they're only jealous. My point is, they're jealous of Liverpool Football Club and what we've achieved over the years. They're jealous of our fan base. I always remember someone saying that Liverpool's, who was it? I forget who it was. Some footballer, like Rio Ferdinand or someone, but it wasn't him. But he said Liverpool they've got the best fans anyone could ever wish for. That club is very lucky to have fans such as those lads who stand on the cop and on the other three side terraces. That's what he said. I forget who it was, unfortunately.
That's
So,
that's why the London press and the politicians, the right-wing politicians, hate us. God, where was I going with that then? That's why they hate us, because we won't shut up. We won't be told what to say or think. We make our own minds up about everything. And they don't like that. They don't like people who speak up and don't just cower and sit down when somebody wags a finger at you. When somebody wags a finger at me, I'm like, don't think so, mate. Don't think so. You're not telling me anything.
Well, there you go, you see. But anyway, lads. Anyway, we've got a game on Thursday, and it's Prague. But I want you to come on Tuesday or Thursday, not Thursday, by the way. I want you to come on Tuesday. Give us your team who you'd like to see play this lot. Don't forget that we're playing again at the weekend against City, right? But I'd like us to come on for the post as well, the post match, which will be on the Friday night, if that's okay with you. And then we can talk about the City game. Would you be willing up for that? I'm going straight to you, Brian. Would you be willing up for that on Tuesday and on Friday as well?
I won't be able to say yes or no because, well, basically, I've just got some stuff happening at the moment, and things can change on a daily basis.
No, okay.
So I can't really. So I'll let you, if JK can send me the link, and I'll let him know.
Yeah,
but I don't let people down by saying, "Oh, I'll be there," and have to not show up. So I'll be working on a daily basis over the week.
Never shuts up, does he? Wasting late. I was only joking. Brian. But anyway, the link will always be sent to you. Just in case you can't come on. That's no problem. It'll always be there, even if you come on late, even if you just jump on, it makes no problem. It won't be any problem with us or any different stuff. And also 12th man, would you be willing for Tuesday and next Friday, unless you get married again?
Tuesday, I should be able to. Friday will be a little bit more difficult because I have I'm possibly not going to be here at my home. I might be going out of town. So, yeah, Tuesday should.
Tuesday, okay. Well, that's fine as long as it's Tuesday. That's smashing that. And I'm not saying anything to you, Lee. You'll just be there anyway. And I know that's okay as well.
Down, bro.
Is that okay? Well, listen, boys.
Sam.
I just want to ask out there, just press the subscription button. Cost none. Press the like button just to get the algorithm out there. That's all. And if you ever want to come on, I keep saying this. Oh, yeah, look, hang on. I didn't even know this. I forgot. Early kickoff, lads, on Thursday as well, I think. I forgot all about
5:45. 5:45,
yeah. What time is it?
5:45.
Oh, I'll tell you what, then, Thursday. It'll have to be Thursday, the post-match. Is that okay? So we can talk. Thursday, we can talk about it. We'll come on exactly an hour after the final whistle. Is that okay? So whatever, a notice will go up anyway. So we'll come on Thursday, if that's okay. All right? Instead of Friday. So it'll be an hour after. It'll be an hour after the final whistle. Did I say after the kick-off? Final whistle, I meant to say. And look at this fella here, look. You're not going, are you, Frank? Dave Station doesn't start for another 2 hours. Well, he's like, great.
I don't know what that is.
I'm feeling raw. See you all, great show. See you all, great show game. Thank you so much.
Peace, man.
And tough say. Gakpo will have a part to play later on in the season. Watch, he will score some very important goals for us. Without a shadow of a doubt, most probably. And Darryl says, okay, I'm free on Tuesday. Well, that's nice. That's nice. So listen, boys. Brian, and there he is. Look, there's the 12th. Thank you so much for coming on tonight and, showing your support for everything red. Thank you for your fantastic contribution. Not only that, but, we can all criticise.
Sure.
We can all criticise. But it's only constructive criticism. This is what I'm trying to say. It's not all bad. And it's really...
Top of the league, bro.
Top of the league.
We're top of the league, bro. There you go. Come on, man. Fine. We've got to smile sometimes in life.
Well, there's Ian McHale, and he says great pods and contributions. Getting contributions all up the Reds and have a great weekend.
Me too.
Great panel, great chat, all hosted by a great host, Mr. Carlyle. Up the mighty Reds, says Norman. And Norman's he's not a transgender, He's just using his wife's thing, whatever account. He's not a transgender. And he looks at babe stations as well. Great show, Frank. Enjoyed the show this morning as well. Says Paul Turner, you'll never walk alone. Just for me to say. So don't forget, Brian, the link will always be there for you, okay?
No worries, no. Thank you.
Okay. 12th man, the same for you. It'll always be there for you. And hopefully I'll sorry, go on. What was you going to say?
I would say that. I said, always a pleasure. Thank you. Just showing the gratitude.
Thank you for coming on, because you're a good speaker along with Brian. It's absolutely brilliant. And Lee, have you noticed the way Lee's, being quiet and gentle?
More studious.
Studious, very studious.
You know what? My default setting as a human being is quite. I can be very quiet and quite introverted, but I can also be extrovert sometimes. You know what I mean? But my default setting is to be quite introverted and shy. Would you believe it?
So you have a personality then. So you have a personality then.
Introverted and shy. Behave yourself.
He thinks he's Jurgen Klopp.
Listen, lads, I've got to finish.
Yes.
It's a big,
Sorry,
massive
guys.
thank you from
Yes.
me, to the panel. Thank you. I love you, honestly, God, I do. And all the lads out there and the girls out there, thank you for joining in. And Mark Simon says, good night from sunny Gibraltar. And I keep saying, give Gibraltar back to the Spanish. We don't want any colonialism now anymore. I'm only joking, Mark. I'm only joking. And thank you again, lads. Thank you so much. TW, you see, these lads are all looking in, and
Yeah, good guys.
thank you, everyone. These lads are good. And without these lads, they wouldn't be a pod for us. And as I said, lads, anyone who'd like to come on and give their views, go along with the 12th, go along with Lee, go along with JK, go along with Brian as well. And K-Mac, when he comes on, you'll be with them, you'll be giving your
Do you know what, Ken? With rival fans, you wonder where they're going to go next. All right, they've tried the Binder and stuff, the Mayors and stuff. That isn't really doing anything. So they sing the national anthem. Are they going to accuse us of killing the Queen next? They'll probably say Scousers killed the Queen, even though she died of old age.
Yeah. It wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me.
What was I going to say? You could subscribe to 12 Man's channel as well, guys. The guys who did it already. Nice one, bros.
Yes,
yeah.
absolutely.
No, thank you so much.
I'll
And I'll see you all on Tuesday. Is that okay? But if you like history, join my pod on Monday evening, 8 o'clock, and it's all about history. And you should like what I'm going to talk about, especially the 1774 Declaration, and 2 years later the War of Independence.
Frank, I meant to ask you something quickly earlier on.
Yeah.
Are you a ripperologist? Do you do stuff on the Ripper? Do you do like?
Yeah, I did it last.
Do you do talks on Jack the Ripper? Are you into it? That's your thing?
Yeah, I did a lecture last night on it, up in that Billings. And the thing is, I'll just say this now to you and to us all. Honestly, they know who the Ripper was. Did you know that? They know who it was.
I've heard. Is it Lechmere? Lechmere is the one I've been.
Okay. They know who it was simply because they won't look. Do you know serial killers? Serial killers. To a penny. I don't mean it like condescending like that. To a penny. What I mean is, you get told something. I'll take the likes of Jeffrey Dahmer, for example, over there in America. So you know about Jeffrey Dahmer. Nothing else can be said about him, right? You can say about the Yorkshire Ripper here. Nothing more can be said about him. It's done. It's over with. It's gone, right? So you know what? And that's just 2 examples of all serial killers. Yes. Everything. Listen, when you listen, you won't play. Stop it. Stop it. I'm on a roll. But what you've got on this, what you've got on the Jack the Ripper, is an economic boom for this country. An economic boom, because everything, documentaries, films, TV plays, you name it, even copying the likes of, based on Jack the Ripper. Everything is written, books are written about him, and it all helps the economy of the UK. Did you know that?
Business. Big business. It's big business.
They will not reveal it, because in 1934, Stanley Baldwin, the Prime Minister at the time, was given a note in 1934. And he looked at it and he went, well, it wasn't a note, it was a memo. And he went like that, destroy that, destroy it. And it was the name of the Ripper. He said, we already know, destroy it. Because it brings in a lot of money for the economy. Say like I was an American and me and the 12th were going to do a documentary about Jack the Ripper. We'd have to pay the state here to do this documentary. Do you understand? It's not like you can just do a documentary. You've got to pay for it. You've got to pay for it. And that's what it's all about. But I know who the Ripper was. And one thing I mention in my lecture is something that never, ever, ever gets mentioned.
Okay. That was a good cliffhanger.
Anyway,
if you guys want one last point to say is if you're into Jack the Ripper, then you should check out something called since we're talking about serial killers, the Zodiac Killer in America.
Oh, unbelievable!
Very, very
unbelievable. And that BTK is it?
BTK,
well.
yeah.
Zodiac is a brilliant movie. Zodiac to take down all is a brilliant movie. Absolutely.
You know who it is. You know who it is. You know who it is. Here, you don't.
Yeah.
So you're always trying to find out. That's why there's lots of documentaries made. That's why there's lots of books written. I could write a book. Would it get published? No, because I'll name it. I'll name. And the people who read it go like that. Yeah. Anyway, I'm not going.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to go on. Let's see you all. It's your fault.
Thank God we're top of the league.
I'm not having Brian Morrissey on again because he came out and had me all ranting and everything else. So I'm only joking, Brian.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I love you all. And
just a quick question, Frank.
Yeah, I think this just proves something, and I'm made up with this. Same with JFK, over 2,000 books written on his murder. Because you're not telling me that fella in the little warehouse pointing down with a mad rifle from the Second World War, where you had to cock it like that and shoot, no chance. Lee Harvey Oswald, no chance he did it. No chance. And I'll tell you another thing as well about Dr. Martin Luther King being assassinated. It wasn't that other fella who was supposed to assassinate him, because he said, I never did this. So it's all mysterious things like that. Lots of books are written. So it's all things like that, lads. And that's why it'll never be revealed, because it's good for the economy. Believe you me. So they keep it mysterious. If you ever want me to, TW says military removed JFK. If you're talking like the CIA, because they have a military thing, they have an army. They're in the Ukraine now, fighting this proxy war. They have an army. If you're talking about them, yes. The grassy knoll. I know too much about it to study them. And it's just brilliant. It's just brilliant. What's he saying here? The great train robbery in England and D.V. Cooper and stolen plane are great mysteries. Yes. It's as simple as that. If anything makes money, you don't reveal. You do not reveal. Go into the next century when we're all gone.
The thing is, people are fascinated by the darker side of human nature. It's oftentimes more interesting, although you don't want to go there personally. Like, it's oftentimes more interesting, isn't it? Like, to look into this stuff and see what's motivating people to do the nastiest stuff imaginable. You want to try and understand, don't you?
Well, I'll tell you what I'll do if you want. Are you into this ripperology, Brian?
Well, it's just I've been watching this channel recently, and it's a guy whose whole thing is like, as you know, as you stated, it's an enormous industry, and there's books all. And his thing is that it's Lechmere, and he's proved that it's Lechmere, and that's his channel, and he goes around London. But the thing is, like, he makes his points, but he does it by walking around London, going to the places, pointing them out. So they're really interesting videos to watch. And one of them just popped up on YouTube, like it happens. And I just clicked on it because he was walking around London, visiting all the old sites. And I just found that really interesting, just to see how they've changed the day and all that. But I just found it really interesting. He's really big into his whole, like, I have proved that it's this guy, Lechmere.
Okay.
And,
okay.
But he's opened my eyes up to the whole competitive nature of
Well, I'll open your eyes even more.
Yeah.
I will open your eyes even more. Because it's all right walking around saying things like that, you know. It really is saying, and you know, wow, this is it. And they have a camera with them. And they go, oh, that's good, that, isn't it? You know, that must be perfect. He knows his stuff. He knows his stuff. This is what you say, and this is what resonates with you, you know, through the documentary. Why did I do that? I don't know. But anyway, if you want me, I'm saying it now, but I'll have to say to these lads as well, if you want me to do a lecture on here, like a history thing, one night, pick your night, and I'll do a lecture, my lecture. And I'll guarantee you, Brian, I'll change your mind.
Oh no, I haven't gone in with this guy at all. I just think his channel is really well done. But I like that. I wasn't really a ripper guy at all, you know. It's just, but I like his channel. But he's kind of, he does all this extra stuff, and it's good. He's clearly well researched, and he has his ideas. But it's just for me, what I'm interested in is, like Lee's talking about, the architecture of London, the way London has changed, going to these places that, like, it was this in 1888 or whatever, and now look, it's here now, and there's a train station here now. That was the bit that piqued my interest. But
yes.
What I realized afterwards was this guy was saying, yeah, I'm a Lechmere guy, and there's a whole world of these people out there that they all have their own people, and they all write their own books. And he's saying, like, it's a vicious world, basically, you know. And I was like, okay, fine, cool. But it's just the way, I just like the whole walking around London part of it as well. But it was really interesting.
Well, I won't be walking around. I'll be sitting here.
Yeah. No, I'd love to hear your lecture. Absolutely. Yeah, I'd be up for that. 100%.
See, you know, I'll do it. I will do it. If I get, you know, a lot of people, not a lot of people, you know, like the lads who are on it and the girls who are on here, and I'll definitely do it, honestly. And it'll change your mind. Well, okay, I'll just say this. You'll just go. That's what you'll do. You'll go. You know, at the end of it, you'll go, more or less saying, I didn't know that. You see what I mean?
Yeah, I'm all for it.
Yeah. And as
remember what
question, Frank.
Nielsen said, Frank, the killer, he said he killed, like, the guys that he had sex with because he didn't want them to, he couldn't bear the thought of them leaving him. So he killed them so they stayed with him. I think it was Nielsen who said that.
Nielsen, Jeffrey Dahmer as well. Nielsen, that's what I mean. I mentioned Nielsen. I mentioned the two Nielsens last night. I mentioned Jeffrey Dahmer. I mentioned John Wayne Gacy. Now, why did I mention them? Because you know about them. You don't need to read about them. This is what I'm saying.
Do you know what I thought of when I heard about Dahmer putting bits of bodies in? I thought, imagine you went, he was your type of guy, and you went back to his flat, and you went to his fridge for a beer, and it stunk of dead flesh. And then because your brain, what was between your legs were operating your brain. You stayed. You sat down again even after you smelt flesh and went, nah, can't be. And then you sat down. Next minute you wake up and he's got his hands around your throat or something, or he's got a hammer.
Yeah.
It's a mad one, isn't it?
Yeah. And TW says, go for it, Frank. And Norman says, is Dharma the one who cooked humans? Yes. Yes. But this is good, what I say. And this person came over to me, ex-university, and he went like that. That was brilliant, that. He said, where did you find that stuff out? I said, well, what you call research and whatever else. Because I say something that people, all these ripperologists never come out with. Ever. Any of them. Throughout the years. Throughout the years. They've never, ever come out with what I've said. And which is true and very, very plausible. Honestly, it's good. It's good. But anyway, boys and girls, and love yous, and see yous all. Try and tune in if you want to me history show. I'm talking to the lads out there. I've never heard of this. Noah Hyde. Noah Hyde. Mud flood, and the windows and doors underground, worldwide. Don't know what that is.
That doesn't sound good.
Oh, it doesn't. Mud flood on the windows and doors underground, worldwide. I streaming it. I stream Greenland, and I don't care what anyone says. There's global warming. I'm telling you now, because I was looking at a Nuuk airport, and it was 17 degrees one day. Minus 17 degrees, below freezing, right? Less than 48 hours later, it was +8. And these are freezing places. These are in the tundra, for God's sake. These are in the Arctic Circle, if you know what I mean. And there's definitely global warming, people. And
made by the people who were telling us to campaign against it. It's ridiculous, man. Humans, I was just gonna say, humans make the problem, and they come up with a solution for some reason. Yeah,
of course, and it's like the pharmaceuticals, and the likes of the 12th that know all about that. Is American pharmaceuticals. They make a hell of a lot of money, and so do the WEF. But anyway, Wales of Football, big up everyone, new to the channel, big up the panel, big up Liverpool 12th man and Brian. It's Henry Jersey, Brian. It's been a long time. No.
Oh, Henry, Jersey boy, nice one. Sorry, how the hell are you, man? Jersey boy, World of Football. He's a legend. He's a great kid. Get him on your channel. Get him on your channel, Frank. If he ever offers, don't worry about. He's a good kid. If he ever offers to come on, he'd be a great panelist. So yeah, I hope you're doing well, Henry.
Is he a Chelsea fan? Did you say?
No, he's a Liverpool fan. No, he's a Liverpool fan.
Oh, that's no problem. Give him the house keys. Give him the house keys.
I'll tell you what, Frank, he won't tell you this himself. He's a brilliant guitar player. You should watch it. This guy is a brilliant guitar player. He doesn't just like football. He's a serious musician.
We love him on.
Yeah.
We love him on.
A man of many talents.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. That's excellent. That. Yeah, so smashing. Love him on. And, JK will sort it all out. Anyway, I've got to say good night, lads. I really have. Poor Frank's knackered. Frank hasn't had anything to eat. And I've got a biscuit here, and I was going to have it. But I would have been too much crunching. And there's Lee eating a big Chinese. Couldn't believe it.
Wish it was a Chinese. It was just a packet of microwave rice and a packet of microwave pasta with sauce, like 50p each, quid's worth of food.
Well, on that note, I'm going to leave it. Brian, thank you so much. It's been great. 12th man, thank you so much. And JK, you know the score. Lee, you know the score. See you all on Tuesday. But if you like your history, I'll see you on Monday night.
Yeah, I'll see you on the stream on Monday. I'll join you.
And do not forget, please, the post-match on Thursday. And what did the Wales of Football say? Thank you. I'm down to come on anytime. Just let me know. Well, they will let you know. It goes out BST at 8 p.m. all the time, except post matches, whatever the time it ends. Ian McHale, up the Reds, and TW. See you all next week. Great show. You'll never walk alone. And Norman says Nunes. Absolutely. And the 12th man, there he goes. Good night to the chat and shout out. Wales of Football. Good to see you, mate. And thank you all. See you all next week. As the Italians say, ci vediamo. Prossimo settimane.